Maybe, I'm thinking maybe they start Malik Willis, and because it's the Texans, and again, what have they been doing the last 6 weeks? Leaning on their
number
run
22.
game. Exactly, and their defense, and they make just enough plays in the passing game because of their run game that it helps them out. So if Ryan can't play, or if he's restricted in any way, just look for them to do a heavy dose of Derrick Henry. And I don't know if they can play action, because that play action is a lot of footwork and handwork. And I'm sure if he does have to play, they'll numb him up, and he won't feel it as much. But still, with a high ankle sprain, I don't care how much you numb that thing up. It's still going to hurt.
And it's hard to move.
Yeah.
That's the issue to me. Can you do your drop backs? Can you escape pressure? If that's it. Now, I don't know if we probably won't get any news at all from Mike Vrabel today. We'll definitely listen in on his press conference. But I do think this is a big thing going forward. In the meantime, let's break down some different things in the game. If you want to weigh in, we'd love to just hear your opinion at 615-737-1025. Call or text, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Jump on in there, and we're going to break down this Titans victory. And do you subscribe to the Titans got the division? Now, the division is theirs. I'm saying no. No. Don't rush to judgment on that. This is a team that has very little margin for error. They've done a tremendous job. As one of the callers says, this is Donovan, the Titans could be 0-6. They could also be 5-1. You're right. Yeah. They're a made field goal on the first game of being 5-1. But that's the razor's edge that they're playing on right now, and it's going to continue. And they've got a lot of very tough games coming up, even though the next one looks very winnable against Houston. They did lose to Houston last year. 615-737-1025. Stay tuned. We're getting cranked up here on 102.5 The Game.
Want the latest on college football and Nashville sports?
He looks like 1,000 quarterbacks I've seen in a college game.
Join Outkick 360's Chad Withrow every Friday at 5 with Stillman and Company.
The coaching staff kept him and got rid of the other guys.
He'll bring opinions and charisma for a full half hour every week.
If he's so great in the locker room, then give him a coaching gig.
Chad Withrow is presented by Two Rivers Ford. Custom order your new Ford from Two Rivers Ford on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey folks, Joe Extra here for FanDuel Sportsbook. One of the things I love about FanDuel, betting on new players' game props I like, and one thing cool about FanDuel, you can combine these props with other bets on the same game, score a bigger payout, same game parlay. You want to talk about tonight's game, Bears-Pats? Oh, this is not quite the Super Bowl of '85, but I would say in this one, I like the Pats. I like the under big in this game. I like the under on Justin Fields' passing yards, too. That's my parlay. You do whatever you want to do. And, of course, you have so many other things you can do on FanDuel. It's easy to use. You got live betting. Your friends use it. Fast withdrawals, odds boosts, and specials. With the same game parlay, no feeling like nailing it. Lock it in today. New customers get $150 in free bets. Win or lose with promo code Joe102. Again, promo code Joe102. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older, present Tennessee. First online room money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is now drawable free bets. Expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See turnsportsbook.fanduel.com. Got me a problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
Hey, Nashville. TJ Anderson here. With real estate listings, you have to read between the lines. Like, cozy means super small. Great bones means money pit. And motivated sellers? Well, that means the honeymoon is probably over for them. My team at TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty is ready to help both home buyers and sellers decode the market. Oh, and if the house needs a little TLC, you should probably pack your hazmat suit. Google TJ Anderson Homes, read our reviews, and see why we are referred for a reason. TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty, 615-432-2919.
Men, are you asking yourself questions like, why am I gaining fat? Why is my energy or sex drive down and maybe haven't been getting the exercise you need? If you want to get back to the man you used to be but just don't have that youthful energy, that edge you once had, you very well might have low testosterone. Low T causes all kinds of issues, from a reduced libido, lower drive, and bad sleep patterns to problems with muscle gain, bone density, and more. It may even contribute to erectile dysfunction, and if this sounds like you, it's probably time to get treated for your low T. At the Tennessee Tennessee Men's Clinic, we've treated thousands of men for low T. We've seen them put on muscle, add to their energy, improve their sex lives, get better sleep, and just feel better. Plus, if you're like most men, you'll see results in only a few weeks. So make an appointment today and experience how testosterone therapy can truly change your life. Your initial appointment is only $99 with results in minutes. Call today, 615-208-9090, or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra. Results vary.
3 decades of bluegrass, folk, country, and punk from one city, Los Angeles, where country rock was created and changed the world of popular music. Don't miss Western Edge, the roots and reverberations of Los Angeles country rock, a major exhibition at the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum, featuring artists from Buffalo Springfield and the Byrds, to Linda Ronstadt, the Eagles and Emmylou Harris, to the Blasters and Dwight Yoakam. Witness Western Edge today. The exhibit is presented by City National Bank.
I love this show.
Never miss a moment of the show.
Okay, all right, okay.
Subscribe to the Chase, Willy, and D-Mase podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
How tough was the mobility for you on that play? I think that came after the injury too. Was it difficult to move around in the pocket?
Yeah, it definitely didn't feel great. But the O-line did a good job protecting me there. Kind of caved down the right side a little bit. I was able to move off schedule. They did a good job covering our initial play. And Austin just kept working for me through the middle of the field there and made the play.
That's Ryan Tannehill after the game talking about really the game-winning play, the play that put the game away, which was the pass that he completed after he injured the ankle, where he had a little extra time. He slid in the pocket. Hooper makes the juggling catch, and they get the field goal. So it's just enough to win. He talked about the mobility. We'll see if we find anything else out today. We probably won't, but that's something to watch as the week goes forward here. Let's talk about another couple of key plays, Derek, as we jump in there. And we want your feedback, 615-737-1025 here on this Monday morning. Call or text, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. And, hey, be sure to follow us on Instagram at 1025 The Game Nashville as well. Key plays at key times. Mm-hmm. Let's start with the interception by Andrew Adams. Had no idea who Andrew Adams was.
Still don't.
He's actually been in the league. I went back and looked. He's actually been in the league a lot longer than I realized. Played a couple years with the Giants, played a bunch of years with Tampa. So he's really a veteran player. But I'll be honest. Now, of course, I was in Europe with the Predators for a lot of this time, but when they picked him up, I probably read the press release and the little sentence on him, and I was probably like, okay, great. But he was the star player of the game. That was the biggest play in the game, the interception for a touchdown. So it's another example of the Titans finding a guy off the street. They look at him and they say, he's got a skill set we can use. It's very Belichickian, right? We can play him in this role. And he played a great game yesterday. It wasn't just that play, too. He made a lot of tackles. He was in the right place. He made a lot of plays for him.
Well, what they do is they're not trying to get a lot out of these guys that they're bringing in because these guys don't know the defense the way that some of the other guys do. What they're trying to do is just put them in positions to succeed. That's all they do. Listen, when this coverage is played, this is where you need to be. Don't worry about anything else. Just be right there. That's all we're asking you to do. And on the interception, Matt Ryan got rushed. He had to speed up his throw. He threw it before the receiver even, knew the ball was coming. The receiver, it was a coverage where the receiver didn't think he was getting the ball anyway. Because what they did was they bracketed that outside guy. And they let the 9 route or the seam route, they let him go to the safety. They pass him off to the safety, and that corner drops back down, and that backer is right there too. So what they're doing is they're bracketing that out, that 5-yard out. They're bracketing that 5-yard out, and they expect the safety to come over to get that 9 route, or it has to be a perfect throw to that 9 route on the sideline in order to get it in. Well, Matt Ryan didn't have time to do anything. He just threw it and threw it right into an interception. He played the coverage, the action to play, and he was right where he was supposed to be, and the ball fell right in his hands.
And he's a hero because of it. And you think back at how the game turns on that play.
Mm-hmm.
Let's wind it back one play before. What happened the play before? Derek, you remember? The setup, 2nd and 13.
Was it a sack?
Nope.
No, it wasn't a sack.
A handoff to Jonathan Taylor.
Yes, he lost 3 yards. Yes, to the right side.
And what likely happened that they didn't call?
A face mask. It was a blatant face mask. I don't know what see.
Both refs were kind of looking at each other. Hey,
Yeah.
It looked weird there. It kind of looked like a face mask. Did you see it? I didn't quite see it. And they didn't throw a flag, and they kept looking at each other. Anybody see? And Matt Ryan's going, didn't you guys see that? It was a face mask. Like, there's
But
only
then
one
on the
way.
flip side, there was a face mask called on Derrick Henry that wasn't a face mask.
You don't think that was a face mask?
No, it was clearly he grabbed the shoulder pad.
Okay.
He grabbed the inside of the shoulder pad. I'm sitting in the press box with everybody else, and I'm like, and everybody was like, not that. I mean, we're fine with it, but that wasn't a face mask. The play before, the series before, that was a face mask. This one wasn't a face mask. But you're right. That play, missed call, is set up for a 2nd and 13. Now the Titans can pin their ears back and go after the passer. And boy, did they do that. And they caused Matt Ryan to throw an interception. Honestly, I think they should bench Matt Ryan now. Because here's the reason they should bench Matt Ryan. And maybe I need to find out who the backup is first.
Well, it's the guy from Texas, Ellinger, or is his name?
Here's the reason why they need to bench him now. Because he's playing in front of an offensive line that is not good. And he is not mobile enough to get away from anybody. And they know it. Even when he had a clear path to run for a first down, he got 2 yards. And it was like 2nd and 5 or 2nd and 6.
Can't run.
He got 2 yards. Indianapolis should be ashamed of themselves.
Well, that's the biggest thing that's gone wrong, in my opinion, for their team, is they thought they had the offensive line to protect an older quarterback like Matt Ryan. Mm-hmm. And here's the other thing. They're not running the ball very well. I don't know if Jonathan Taylor still is not close to 100%.
They abandoned the run.
They abandoned the run. They didn't try to run. But part of that is the Titans. This is what the Titans defense has been doing every week. And it's because it all starts with the big man in the middle. Mm-hmm. They're very difficult to run against. Then they have a very good understanding of what your passing scheme is. For a fourth consecutive week, you can name the games. They have limited the top target offensively in the passing game. Pittman made it tough on him yesterday. It's not like he got nothing, but he did not change the game for them. Mm-hmm. 5 catches, 58 yards. I'll take that every time with him. He's a guy that's capable of having 100, 150 yards. He can make huge plays. They kind of made Paris Campbell the guy.
Please don't say.
That's what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? Like he had a decent little game. He scored a touchdown, but he had 70 yards on 10 catches.
Yes.
That's not going to get it done.
Yeah,
but when you pressure the passer and you make him make quick decisions, you dictate the game. And that's what they did yesterday. It was a great scheme, and the Titans have enough weapons on defense, especially with Dupree back. Dupree made a big he gets no stats really on the interception return for the touchdown, but he's coming in unblocked, flying. He forces Ryan to have to get rid of it.
Exactly.
Right? And the same thing on the other interception. It was a great play by David Long on the next series. He's sliding out towards the sideline with Paris Campbell, but he sees the pressure, and he stops. Pittman is running a little dig, where he's dragging back out, and that's what Ryan sees. He's gonna beat his man, but he doesn't see Long stop off of Campbell and then slide back in the pass. It was a great. Long did the same thing on the interception against Washington to win the game. So Long is another guy that's benefiting. When you can put pressure on the passer and you got savvy guys like Byard, Hooker, Long back there in the back, it's really a good thing. So the defense is really doing what we hoped that they would do, even without Landry.
Well, the defense is going to be – I think this year they knew that if this team wanted to find themselves back in the playoffs, that they were going to have to lean heavy on one of the best defenses in the National Football League. And it has proven true because the offense beside Derrick Henry is inept. It truly is. And it's going to be even worse now that Ryan Tannehill is dealing with an injury. They got to find – they're going to have to continue to find ways to beat teams defensively, not offensively, defensively, and doing just enough, not messing it up on offense to lose a game. And Vrabel realizes that. He understands that, he doesn't have, 2 or 3 playmakers. He has one, one guy that he can rely on game in, game out. And that's Derrick Henry. And that's unfortunate because, 3 years ago, this offense was scoring 30-some points a game. And, we can all say, well, it was because of Corey Davis. I mean, not Corey Davis, but A.J. Brown. Well, this team wasn't scoring a bunch of points last year either. This has been an erosion of the offense for a couple of years now. And they've gotten to a point now where they're just trying to hold on. And they're doing a damn good job at holding on. Why? Because Vrabel has that defense. Vrabel has that defense believing that if we don't win the game on the defensive side of the ball, we're not winning. And they truly believe that. I've been a part of teams like that. 98 here with the Titans, 99 here with the Titans. Because the way our offense was constructed, the defensive players believed they had to win the game. You know?
All right, so let's talk about the offensive part of this when we come back because we're getting some interesting texts about it. Keep weighing in. We want to hear what you have to say. Titans at 4-2 now, 4 wins in a row. Some people think they've got a stranglehold on the AFC South. I'm not ready to go there yet. We're not even halfway through the season, but it's very encouraging after the 0-2 start. Weigh in with your thoughts on the game, 615-737-1025. We're coming back after this.
Hey, I'm Matthias Ekholm, and this is Smashville.
Ekholm, his shot, he scores! Matthias Ekholm gets the Predators' third of the night.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network, ESPN 1025, The Game.
This segment of ESPN 1025 The Game is brought to you by Train Heating and Cooling Systems. Tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent train dealer. Traininfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
Hi, I'm Emmitt Smith, Hall of Famer and all-time leading rusher with exciting news.
If you suffer from chronic joint pain, Emmitt Smith wants to introduce you to QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in biologic treatment for pain. I'm talking regenerative solutions that encourage your body to heal and repair itself. No medications, no surgeries, no downtime.
If you have pain in your knees, hips, lower back, and shoulders, don't assume the old treatments are the only treatments. Learn more about how you can get lasting relief with biologic treatments that can repair and restore damaged tissue.
Call to learn more about this exciting natural way to deal with chronic joint pain. Play golf without pain, walk upstairs without pain, play with your kids and grandkids without pain, get back on your job without pain, live your life pain-free. Call QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe, and every season is screwball season in my house. No matter the time of year, that rich, smooth taste just hits the spot. Y'all know Screwball. It's made with real whiskey, peanuts, and peanut butter, and it's just flat out delicious. It's my favorite. However you take it, as a shot, in an espresso martini, or a peanut butter old-fashioned, make it a Screwball peanut butter whiskey. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022 Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Now is a fantastic time to sell in Nashville, but you can't do it without the intel. And no one has better intel than the Gary Ashton team. You may be wondering, what is this intel I keep hearing about? Intel so you can sell your home without any staging or showings. Intel on where to find your next home so you can sell your current one while the market's hot. Intel that helps you win the buyer battle and cash in on your home equity now. Everyone else is getting the same information and competing for the same properties. GaryAshton.com gives you the edge with the best real estate intel in Nashville. No one else even comes close. Plus, the Gary Ashton team is the official real estate agent for the Preds. Get the confidence to sell your home and find your dream address without the stress. Call the Gary Ashton team with RE/MAX Advantage today at 615-301-1650 or visit GaryAshton.com. And remember, don't sell without the intel.
Hi, I'm Mike Johnson, PNC Regional President for Tennessee and Chair of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's Nashville Light the Night. Please join us October 28th as we bring light to the darkness of cancer. Visit lightthenight.org today to register.
Get what you want and pay over time when you use your Lowe's Advantage Card. Now through October 26, 2022. Ask for 0% APR with 36 fixed monthly payments on a product installation or appliance purchase of $1,000 or more. Shop for the appliances you want in-store or online. Or go to the store nearest you for installation. Now at Lowe's. Offer subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store at Lowe's.com for details. U.S. only.
Jonathan Hutton.
You have to put the ball in his hands in that moment.
And Chad Withrow.
My kicker's making no decisions on a football team.
Are in the game. Join them for NFL postgame after every Titans home game. Live from Landshark Bar and Grill in Margaritaville on Broadway. They'll break down that day's game and look ahead to the next one. NFL postgame is presented by Two Rivers Ford, Renter's Warehouse, and Superbook Sports on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, it's Max Kellerman, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
The glory days. It was nice to see all the Titans alum in the house yesterday. Even old Dan Pastorini. That was a great throwback right there to the Oilers days. My one pet peeve, though, D-Mase, they should have given everybody a jersey. They had all the guys lined up. Everybody was wearing their own clothes. And so I was at the game yesterday. I was sitting up.
Some guys didn't have on jerseys?
No.
Oh, I thought some guys had on jerseys. I don't know.
A couple did.
Yeah, I think the Oilers.
Eddie had a jersey. Eddie had his Oilers jersey on. But there were a lot of guys that just were there, and I was like, I'd love to know who that guy is. I have no idea. They didn't introduce him, so that's why they don't have time to introduce each guy.
Time to introduce
so put a jersey on him so we can at least say, oh yeah, that's so and so. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I feel you.
Pay a little money, get the jersey.
Yeah.
Get him a jersey.
Hey, they tried to build a stadium, Willie. They ain't got time to be getting jerseys.
Oh, man. I got a couple things to say about my fan experience yesterday.
Oh, man.
Because I love sitting with the fans. It was a good crowd yesterday. They announced the second biggest crowd ever in that.
Whoa. They did what?
That's what I saw from. I'll look up the tweet from Jim Wyatt. The second highest crowd ever is what they're saying. There was a lot of empty seats.
Did they see?
I saw a lot of red seats.
Which
is usually the case.
This is what people need to stop doing. Okay, they need to stop posting stuff like that when people that are there. They see it. They looking in the stands like, come on, what are y'all? What game are y'all at?
Yeah, I know.
Are y'all in a time warp? Are y'all back 3 years ago when it was selling out, or in '99 when it was selling out? Because it damn sure ain't a sellout today.
That's not what they said. But
I mean,
I
of
agree
course,
with
the
you.
tickets, yes, tickets.
And that's another troubling thing about the game experience is you would think it was an absolutely perfect day. Mm-hmm. You can't say, well, it was cold or it was rainy.
Exactly. Oh yeah,
it was a perfect day.
Perfect day to watch a football game.
Weather. Huge game. Yeah. Huge game. Rival. So, what else do you need to fill all the seats? If it's truly sold out, which I'm sure it is. But there were plenty of seats around. They were scattered. They were empty, never filled.
Hey, Jim.
But I mean,
I love
Jim's
you.
just reporting what
he's
given.
reporting it, but it wasn't.
The announced attendance today of 69,459 ranked the second in team history for a game at Nissan Stadium.
Stop doing that crap, man. Seriously, stop doing that because the teams that have been really, really good, that have packed it, like truly packed that stadium, when they went to the AFC Championship game a few years ago, when they packed that stadium that season, last year, in 99, 2000, when they were truly packing that stadium, that's when it was full. Yesterday was not full. It was not it wasn't one of the biggest crowds I've ever seen in Nissan Stadium. It was not. By far, it wasn't.
I agree.
But I don't understand why it shouldn't be.
I was sitting there. I was in there.
You were there the whole game.
In the upper deck. I'm looking around, and you can see.
I'm sitting in the press box until halftime, and I see everything. So where was these people at?
Well, I do have one theory.
What?
They're standing in line for concessions.
Yeah, you could be right about
because I can tell you this. I got there 30 minutes before the kickoff, up into the upper deck. Went out there at halftime. There was a line. You couldn't – I mean, it was not worth waiting in line. It was just one of those, like, why would you wait in this line? You're never going to get – for the entire game, the lines were overflowing.
Well,
you can't get anything to eat.
That's why they're getting a new stadium.
I know. It's just sad, though, that it's like you wonder why people don't want to go to the game. That's a big reason.
Yeah, but I guess they count it. Do they count it based upon ticket sales or butts in the seats? Which one do they count it by?
I think it's ticket sales.
Well, if it's counted by ticket sales, then
in theory there could be tickets sold that are not used.
Yeah,
and there's probably when you look up and you see empty seats, it's probably there are some of those people standing in line,
but not all those people, Willie.
No, I agree.
There was chunks.
Definitely not chunks. There were definitely chunks.
It was chunks. But
and that being said, the people that were there were great. It was a good crowd. But they made a difference.
But like you said, it was a beautiful day out. Wasn't hot, wasn't cold. Sun was shining. You're playing your division rival. It's for the division. Why aren't you if you bought a ticket, at least try to come or give it to somebody else that wants to go. I get it. Parking is you know what, and food prices is up there. But if you don't want to go, give it to somebody else. Let them go.
Okay, I'll tell you what I did. I was sitting with George. I was sitting up with Plaz up in the upper deck in his seats that he's had since the beginning. He and I walked out there at halftime going, all right, what are we going to do? We looked at the regular concession line, overflowing. It's got one of those zigzag Disney lines or at the airport where you go through the ropes and stuff. And it kicks out another 10 or 15 yards out from that.
Oh, wow.
So you're like, I got no chance on that. So where is the line that maybe we can deal with? So the shortest line he found was the Dippin' Dots. So he said, I'll go get Dippin' Dots. You find us something to drink. So I went to another line. I got the only line I could find was I went to the beer line because they sold water. Okay? So I stood in line the entire halftime.
For water?
The entire halftime for the shortest line in the upper deck. I walked down a couple sections I'm just going to try to find the shortest line. I got to get something to drink. It took me the whole halftime to get 2 waters, $5.50 per water. And I said, well, I'll just get some peanuts too. We're out of peanuts. Ran out of peanuts at halftime. So I got back to so I met back up with George in the seats. He goes, here's your Dippin' Dots. I said, here's your water. He says, oh, thank you. And then after I finished the Dippin' Dots, he goes, did you enjoy your Dippin' Dots? I said, yes, I did. Very good Dippin' Dots. He goes, I enjoyed my water. Thank you. Took us the whole halftime to get that. Those were the shortest lines in there. It's just completely something that has not been worked on and solved.
That's why they're getting a new stadium.
Well, okay, but if you don't work on the process and think things out, the same things are going to happen whether you're in a new stadium or an old stadium. Just because the stadium's old doesn't mean you can't have good service. And it's not the people working. The people are working their tails off.
It's just they don't have
working at the concession stands. There's not enough of them. There's not enough stands. There's not enough space. It's just
that's why the new stadium will have enough space.
Let's hope. Let's
all
hope.
This other stuff.
Get planning on it.
But going back to the offense, Willie.
Okay, let's get to that. I've had my rant. Or do we need to take it to the next one because we have a lot of text on this too.
Let's go to the text.
All right, let's go to the text.
Here's
the first one. He's going to get you pumped up here, Derek. He says, let's see, where is it? Guy says, I just want to thank Derek. Where is it? I'm going to find this. I lost it. I think somebody has already. I just wanted to say I love listening to Derek Mason break down the game on the radio the next day, especially after a win. Not only because he's a former player, but because he's one of my favorite former players. So the guy is buttering you up right there.
Yeah. I like it, though.
He says, I would go to every game if I could afford it. That's the problem. See, that's the other thing. People are paying good money to go to these games, and you don't get scores of the other games.
Exactly,
They're way behind on the updates and stuff. So I can see why people are saying, why go?
No, listen, Willie, I get it. And when I say, if you don't want to go give your tickets to somebody else, I sort of mean that tongue-in-cheek in a sense, because they're your tickets and you paid for them. And if you don't want to give them to anybody, then you don't. That's your right. You don't have to give them to anybody. But I understand too that when you do buy those tickets, some days you're just not going to be able to go because you can't. Yes, I can buy them and go here and there, but I can't keep shoveling out. The price for parking, the price for concession stands, and obviously the price of the tickets. That's just too much every week, but I do want to support my team.
Yeah.
So I get that part. I understand that part.
You have to preserve the atmosphere at the game. The atmosphere at the game is important. It makes a difference. When it's 3rd and 8 important. And the crowd gets going, that's an important thing. You have to preserve that. So that is something to consider as you move forward into this new era. All right, when we come back, we'll get to the offense. We went on the tangent there, but we're going to talk about how the offense is making the most of what they got, considering the defense can win you the games. That looks like the formula they're going to go with. Stay tuned. We've got more coming here, and keep your texts coming. 615-737-1025. We want to hear your feedback on the game. We're coming back here on 1025 The Game. Let's talk to you about QC Kinetics. They're getting people moving, and they have 3 clinics now in our listening area, so that means they're really doing a good job. They're expanding their coverage. Their formula is working. They're helping people, and that means if you're having the joint pain that has kept you from doing the things that you want to do, there's a lot of opportunities for you to see the people at QC Kinetics. If you're in the Murfreesboro area, they've got a clinic there. They've got a clinic now in Clarksville, and they are ready to give you the free consultation, because if you've had the traditional methods and you can't shake the pain in your hips, your back, your knees, QC Kinetics has got the regenerative medicine where they use the natural biologics, healing agents from your own body to restore and repair damaged tissue. So don't wait any longer. The pro athletes have had this for years, and it's been helping them. Now it can help you as well. And it does it without surgery, drugs, steroids, anything like that. QC Kinetics, free consultation, Nashville, Clarksville, and Murfreesboro. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024 to learn the regenerative treatments of QC Kinetics.
The college football season never stops. ESPN college football analyst Trevor Manich joins Stillman and Company every Tuesday at 4:30.
They've got to do what Nick Saban in Alabama has done so successfully over the last 10 years.
Presented by Houston Clinic Orthopedics on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobus. Forecast for us today taking us into the low 80s once again this afternoon. A little bit of a breeze out of the south. No rain for your Monday. Next rain chance moves in afternoon toward the evening on your Tuesday.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hey, it's Jared from my official sportsbook app, the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Football season is underway, so now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get a no-sweat bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win if you sign up with the promo code JGM. FanDuel has all of your favorite bets, from the money line to point spreads to player props, and you can combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. Get paid and get your winnings fast. All in an app that's safe, secure, and easy to use.
This is the season to bet on New York. The way those two teams are playing, you're going to have to look at that.
So sign up today with the promo code JGM for your no-sweat first bet. That's promo code JGM. And make every moment more this season with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the National Football League. 21 and older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only, and your refund is issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions do apply. Please see terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Please call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800 889-9789.
If you are experiencing persistent shoulder pain that may be the result of overuse or an injury such as a rotator cuff tear or tendonitis, the world-class orthopedic team at Houston Clinic Orthopedics will give you the appropriate medical attention to prevent any additional damage to the shoulder. Chronic pain or a permanent injury may occur without proper treatment. Houston Clinic Orthopedics is conveniently located where you work and live. Visit their website at tn.houston.com and book your appointment online. When experience matters, trust Houston Clinic Orthopedics.
The Nashville Area Chamber of Commerce is celebrating 175 years of creating economic prosperity by facilitating community leadership in the Nashville region. Join their annual celebration presented by PNC Bank on October 25th from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. at the Renaissance Nashville Hotel. Enjoy networking, breakfast, and an immersive We Are Nashville experience designed to inspire conversations and take simple but meaningful actions to embrace and preserve the unique character of our city. Get tickets at the door. More information at celebrate.nashvillechamber.com.
Robbie Stanley.
They get a lead in that game and just totally close the door.
Joe Rexroad.
If he plays next year, it's disastrous.
Robbie and Rexroad. Mornings from 6 to 10 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app. This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
I know it's a week-to-week league, but after starting 0-2, you like the way you've won 4 in a row and feel like you're maybe building some confidence.
Coming off a bye and being able to get a victory, tough week of work against an opponent that clearly showed that they weren't going to go away. But I'm proud of our guys for finding ways to win. And hopefully we can continue, as we work our way, into Houston in this division. But certainly feels good to be able to say that we've won 4 games in a row, and for the most part, doing things the way that we think that they need to be done right now.
Clearly, Mike Vrabel satisfied with the way they got the thing done yesterday. We're back here on Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, breaking down the Titans' win. We're getting your thoughts on our call and text line, WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Teron Davenport coming on at 11 o'clock, and we'll get his thoughts at the top of the hour. 615-737-1025. All right, D-Mase, here's one for you off the text line. How much better do you think the defensive coordinator is than the offensive coordinator? Seems like they're much better at filling holes with role players on the defensive side of the ball. Chris and Dixon. I beg to differ a little bit. I think Bowen and Downing are big stories on this team. Both have been under fire. I think I have to go back and check a website, but I think there was some fire Shane Bowen. There was a lot of heat on Shane Bowen a couple years ago when they couldn't stop anybody on third down. Who is this guy? Why is he not the defensive coordinator? Why don't they give him the title? All of these things. Todd Downing had the fire Todd Downing going for 3 weeks. I think he's done a really good job at sort of stabilizing and doing a good job with what he's got. But give me your thoughts. Because I know you have sort of mixed feelings. You think there may still be some more to this offense, even though the weapons are limited.
Yeah, the weapons are limited. But I think now they've figured out that this is who we are, and we're going to operate within this space. What happens is sometimes teams try to be more than who they are, and it shows in their play. They're trying to do things that they don't have the personnel to do it. This offense knows exactly what it is, who it is, and who it's ran through, and that's Derrick Henry. I think they would like to – obviously, every team wants an explosive wide receiver. We just don't have one.
Yep, they chose to trade the one that they had.
Yeah, and then their first-round rookie is hurt, who showed some flashes there, but they have a bunch of guys that are good players within this offense. Nobody's going to scare you, as far as vertical stretching the field. Nobody's going to scare you with game-breaking ability, but they're solid, and they're going to catch the football. Well, eventually, if that is indeed the case, your defense has to play damn near perfect every game. Or your offense has to play mistake-free football, meaning not turn it over. And that's what the Titans pretty much have been doing.
They had the one gaffe yesterday where they
The
tried to
fumble,
put Malik Willis in there.
Which I didn't mind that play at all.
I like that they're thinking that way. In fact, I saw that they snuck Malik Willis onto the field on the last play of the first quarter.
But didn't we talk about that during the week?
We did. But see, people want that. That's what they're trying. They're trying to be creative. They're trying to make use of some things, knowing that they have nobody who can stretch the field. And if you wanted to throw the ball down the field, they can't protect the quarterback anyway. Yeah. They got a piecemeal offensive line that they're making it work with. We drug Dylan Radins through the coals during the preseason. Everybody's ready to kick him to the curb. He started the last 2 games. They've had to put him in there.
Yeah,
they don't have anybody else, and they've won
else.
the game. They've figured out.
So if you're Todd Dylan Radins,
no, it's not because of him. But I'm saying they're doing what the defense is doing. Todd Downing's doing the same exact thing. He's trying to make it work with very limited artillery. But they have a formula that has worked.
Here's the defense. Here's the difference why I believe it works, at least for the time being. They have not played anyone of any. The teams that they've beaten are not playoff bound teams. But every game in the NFL is hard.
Right.
I've been telling people.
I agree with you 100%
I've told
on
people that from the jump. Just because your schedule looks like it's easy, that's because you hadn't played a damn football game. That's what it means. You hadn't suited up and lined up against somebody. If you've ever done that, you know that any Sunday you play any team is not an easy out.
Houston on Sunday will not be easy.
Well, okay, this is an easy out. No. Which, again, tells me you haven't played professional football because no games are easy out. Every game is hard within that week. You know, you may have a team, looking at the Titans, their personnel on offense. If every team took that approach where the Titans are going to be easy, then the Titans will go in and they would blow everybody out because everybody's overlooking them, you know, because of what they can't do on offense. But every team doesn't come in like that. Every team comes in like, that's a good Titans team. Every week each team's going to give you their best shot. And the sign of that is, look at the scores around the NFL. They're not blowouts.
No.
Titan games are not blowouts regardless of who they played except Buffalo. Now, Buffalo is head and shoulders above everybody.
And the Chiefs
are right there
flexed
too.
their muscles a little bit yesterday.
So besides the Chiefs and Buffalo, all these other teams you play, they're going to be hard-fought games.
Yep.
But if you look at the games that they've won, Vegas, they don't seem like even though they beat Houston, they don't seem like their playoff team. Indianapolis doesn't look like a playoff team. They look like a team that is just holding on and can't wait to fire everybody after the season's done. That's the way they look. Washington, they're a cluster. From the head man on down.
Yep.
Ron Rivera is probably like, I can't wait to get out of here, or they get rid of that owner, one of the two. Indianapolis again. So the 4 losses that they've had are against non-playoff teams. Here's the offense. In those 4 wins, the offense has done just enough. They've leaned on Derrick Henry just enough to where if we don't make any mistakes, we trust that our defense is going to get a big play, they're going to get a turnover, and they're going to win the game for us. And it has proven to be true because no matter what Downing does as an offensive coordinator, he can't. It's like one of those, he's not the greatest play caller. I'm not saying he's a bad play caller either, but he's not like, when you think of play callers, he's not the top 5 or 10 play callers. But he's not the worst play caller either.
I'd see what he's trying. Like, he got Hooper involved yesterday.
Exactly. But he doesn't
got
have
Woods just enough. You know, they had just enough in the arsenal. And like you said, they turned to number 22 and said, Derek, we got a heavy workload for you today.
There you go, bud.
I want you to just put the team on your shoulders. And he's still what he does, what Derrick Henry does, even though he has some tough runs where everybody's all over him as soon as he gets the ball.
He moves the chains.
And he brings the defense up to the line of scrimmage. Right? He makes it easier for the guys they do have because everybody's got to get up on the line the scrimmage, and he still moved the chains.
But
It's Eddie George-esque.
But the problem is with this offense is the play caller isn't great, but he's not bad either. But they don't have any playmakers either.
And
so
that's
when you don't have
tough.
when you don't have any true playmakers on the outside, and the offensive coordinator is not as creative enough, this is what you get.
Right, and so Bengals Charles says, and of course the Bengals lit it up yesterday. He says, question, when the defense is winning the games, what happens when you get a team like the Bengals that has multiple players and a decent defense? And that is true. Like, they're going to have to play the Bengals, the Chiefs. They have to play Aaron Rodgers, who big time struggling right now. But they're going to play some quarterbacks who can maybe score some on the Titans defense.
They play the Chargers this year, too.
They have to play the Chargers. So
this
they got some very challenging games coming up. Let me get to one more text here. Let's see. I want to get to one. Ryan Stonehouse, huge reason for the 4-0 run. Special teams were big yesterday. 4 for 4 for Randy Bullock. He has rebounded well from the big miss in the first week. Right. Yesterday was a game where you didn't need to miss a field goal.
No,
right?
He had to make every field goal.
I remember watching the Bill Parcells Giants in the 80s, and they did it with great defense, offense that was okay, but they knew that 17-13 was fine. Right? They weren't going to light up the scoreboard, but you need to make your field goals. Yesterday was one of those days. They didn't punch it in the red zone, but Bullock he did his job. Stonehouse, Lance points out, has been an upgrade over Kearns in net average. There's a lot of different things that go into good punting. I did think they gave up. I mean, Stonehouse, I think if he can just tweak it a little bit, I'd take a little less distance for a little more hang time or a little better direction, because they're giving up
and
some.
He'll get better.
I think they had like 15 yards per punt return on some. So, but he is kicking at 55 yards every time. He's got an incredible leg.
When he needs to boom it, he does.
Yeah.
But obviously there's some other aspects he needs to work on. But he's a young player, and he will. But I want to tell you why I believe the Tennessee Titans on offense will continue to play like this throughout the remainder of the year. Nothing's going to change, and I'm going to tell you why. When we come back.
All right, and we'll have Teron join the conversation as well. Hour number 1 in the books right here on 102.5 The Game.
You watch The Game.
3rd and 9, pocket trembling, down he goes. Hit on the play by Landry.
We talk The Game.
Harold Landry? Boy, you sure should pay him, right?
We are The Game. Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and The Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Hey, football fans. Dak Prescott here, and I'm here to tell you that with NFL Sunday Ticket only on DirecTV, you can watch your favorite team no matter where you live. Because NFL Sunday Ticket gives you every live out-of-market game every Sunday afternoon. So switch to DirecTV and learn how to get the 2022 NFL Sunday Ticket season included at no extra cost. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
With choice package and above, 24-month agreement required. Call for details.
Hey guys, Jeremy here, General Manager at Blend Bar with Davidoff Cigars. We are the go-to spot in Nashville for the best old-fashioned, a nice relaxing cigar, and lots of high-end spirits and wine. Are cigars not your thing? No problem. We have the best ventilation system in the industry that provides a fresh, clean atmosphere for you and your friends. We are here to provide you a trendy, upscale experience in the heart of downtown. Check us out at 508 Church Street. Blend Bar with Davidoff Cigars. Luxury redefined.
Are you looking to get your foot in the door in the sports media business? Do you want to be around the biggest teams in Nashville and learn from some of the best in the business? We're opening that door for you. The entry to working in the world of sports radio exists as a promotions assistant at 102.5, 106.3 The Game. The Game is looking for a few passionate and outgoing folks to represent the station on site at the biggest sporting events in and around Nashville. Does that sound like you? Email together@cromwellmedia.com. That's together@cromwellmedia.com.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. You'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results are guaranteed or your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/radio. That's forhims.com/radio for your free online visit. forhims.com/radio.
OrderGreen.com. You know them by now. They're my only choice for high-quality THC and CBD products, and they're delivered right to my doorstep. Hey, folks, Joe Rexrode here. Yes, you heard that right. OrderGreen.com will send cannabis products right to you with discreet same-day shipping. OrderGreen.com has been great for me. Just what I need during this busy time of year. Takes the edge off physically, mentally. Terrific products. And if you use promo code Joe20, you're going to get 20% off your first purchase at OrderGreen.com. Do you have a subscription to OrderGreen.com? It'd be a lot cooler if you did. You won't be able to tell if you're in Colorado or Tennessee. Trust me. That's OrderGreen.com.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Robbie and Rexrode, Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Stilly and Company. Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
We got pass rushes.
Awesome Game 7.
Checkered flag in the air. The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Now let's see if we can bring them to life, all right?
Bringing you entertainment and informative sports talk during your workday.
Smart, funny, classy, and I like him a lot.
This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase with Chase McCabe, Willie Donick.
Mason, touchdown, Tennessee.
And former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
This is a new level of geek you got going on here.
It is time to continue on with Chase, Willy, and D-Mase. Willie Donick, Derek Mason here with you on 102.5 The Game, 106.3, and the Game Nashville app. It's time to be joined by Teron Davenport, presented by Crane Works and Rental Works, your source for crane and equipment rental. Visit craneworks.com. Teron Davenport with ESPN.com, Talking with TD, the podcast, joins us every Monday at this time. Teron, another Mike Vrabel-esque type of win. We've seen a lot of them against Indy. We've seen a lot of them in general over the last few years. So this team continues to find formulas to be just successful enough, at least against the middle-of-the-road teams in the league. We'll see where it goes from here. But, hey, after an 0-2 hole, you got to like where they are.
Yeah, definitely have to like where they are at 4-2. They're sitting on top of the AFC South, and they have a pretty good lead there with everyone else losing, so it was a good situation for them. But you're right, these wins they show up as a W, but my goodness, they're not pretty at all.
Another example of them finding players who weren't there in training camp or were on somebody's practice squad and come in and play a good role. Andrew Adams, I'll be honest, I read the bio. I didn't think much of him. I didn't even realize he had been there for the last couple of games. And then here he is starring in the game, making the biggest play of the game. Why did they find a fit in him, and how do they keep doing this? Because this is an important part of the formula.
Yeah, it really is. And he actually had a start a couple weeks ago, and he played solid football. I think it's just cool the way they're able to find these guys. And coincidentally, they signed Terrence Mitchell the same day as Andrew Adams, and Mitchell had the Peanut Tillman punch. He got the fumble. He forced a fumble on Michael Pittman Jr. later in the game to kind of seal the deal. So they just find ways, man. Like, these coaches are really good about just bringing these guys in, presenting to them what it is that they have to do, and getting them up to speed. And I think when you have veterans in the locker room like Kevin Byard, like Jeffrey Simmons, Amani Hooker, et cetera, it just works, and that's really the formula, in my opinion.
We've now seen David Long make big interceptions in 2 consecutive games, and we talked about it last week, Teron, or 2 weeks ago, I guess it was, when he made the play against Washington, where if you watch his movement, He's really good. It's not just he's like standing there and the ball comes his way. That's an easy read from the outside, but if you watch closely, yesterday for Matt Ryan, he comes off of his coverage. He's kind of leaning towards Paris Campbell. He realizes Ryan has shifted the other way, so he shifts back, and he makes a big play. He's just a really savvy player.
He's a very savvy player, and the thing that I love, and I actually talked to him about this in the locker room afterwards, because I'm just real big on stuff that you do outside of the game transferring to the game. And if you watch some of the videos that I post pregame, the things that he's doing with the assistant strength and conditioning coach, Brian Bell, he's dropping back and he's weaving and he's breaking on the ball and doing different things. Both of his interceptions, this one yesterday and then the one against the Commanders, they were literally verbatim exactly what he practiced doing. And that's just something that you have to respect, the ability to develop that muscle memory and put yourself in that situation to where it just comes rapid fire and it comes naturally, and that's what he's done. And that dude, I love watching him play because he literally plays like he's on fire, and he's all over the field. He's fun to watch. He's undersized, but he's a classic example of something that I love, and that's that size is not a skill. He plays bigger than his size, and his skill is his heart.
Now, Teron, the offense, moving away from the defense, because I did the defense is each and every week. I think they got it in their minds, and they would probably never say it verbally, but they have it in their minds. They listen, if we're going to win moving forward, it has to be us. We have to do it. We got to make a play some point in the game to stop a drive or interception for a touchdown or fumble recovery. With that being said, this offense, is there any room for true improvement? I'm not saying them adding players and this and that. They can add players all they want to. But as you know, Teron, there's not many players out there on offense for them to go and get it and turn this offense around. But with what they got, can they improve this offense just enough to where they don't have to count on the defense so much?
Yeah, I think they can. And the thing is, in watching that game, especially the first quarter, they showed some different things to make you say, you know what, they're trying to work some new wrinkles in. You got Chig Okonkwo lining up at fullback and, you know, being a lead blocker for Derrick Henry. And that may seem like nothing, but guess what? You could put him at fullback and you could work play action off of that. You know, that's something that you could do. And then you look at Malik Willis being snuck into the game, not on the botched handoff, but before that. You know, so you're starting to see them try to do things. And then, I mean, you remember we talked on the pregame show, and I let my emotion show about how upset I was that these guys aren't, you know, these receivers aren't getting opportunities to go at these DBs who are one-on-one with no safety over top. Well, guess what they did? With Cody Hollister against Stephon Gilmore, they had a 27-yard gain. So I think that's a sign of progress. There's a lot of things that they could do and do it better, and I think they're starting to show some of those things, you know, by going at these DBs and just showing some creativity.
Now, the Titans have managed to, whenever a guy has gone down, whether it be for points within the game or they've missed a guy for a game or two, they've always managed to sort of patchwork it and make it work for that particular game or games. If Ryan Tannehill can't go because he was truly restricted after that ankle injury, and it was almost like when they did pass the ball, it was basically they had to in order to keep Indianapolis honest. Moving forward, if he's still limited or if he can't play, what does that mean for the offense?
Yeah, I think, you know, that's the interesting part of it. I think what they'll have to do, a lot of boots and just getting Malik Willis on the move, giving him, you know, half-field reads, high-lows, and things like that. You know, I think that's, you know, flooding the zones and stuff. They're going to have to do that with him just to get him into a rhythm and then gradually work him into, you know, the full playbook. But it's obviously different from Willis to Tannehill, just from a veteran side of things. And obviously, Willis is a rookie, so you have to scale it back some, and that would limit them, and that would make that Texans game very interesting, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting moving forward because obviously this is another division game, and if they get this game, they move a little bit further ahead, on Indianapolis.
Teron, did you get any kind of read on Tannehill? I know he came in and did the media post game in the boot. It looked to me like Petit Frere fell on his right ankle and kind of turned inward. So I'm concerned about high ankle sprain there. But did you get a read on it at all?
Yeah, he said so. I was in the locker room and he walked by me, and he had his shoe off, his right shoe off, and left shoe on, and he was just kind of limping with that. But then during the presser, he said that the boot was more or less to take pressure off the foot when he was walking out of the building. He said that he's probably going to ice it and just see what happens there. But I didn't really get a read as far as like if it's a high ankle sprain or not. Hopefully it isn't for his sake because, those things are ongoing, and this team is going to have, a stretch of 13 straight games, so they have a lot to make sure that he's ready for.
Yeah, they do. And with him not being able to, if he's not able to be as effective, not just throwing the football, but I think his ability to get outside the pocket. If he can't do that, then what does Downing do as a coordinator? Because to me, he's limited on on explosive players. He can only do so much within the offense. Now your quarterback, who's probably your second best player, he might be restricted to just hand it off in dropbacks.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, when you look at that, right, early in the game it was a 3rd and 1. He had an 8-yard gain, and it was like one of those, he kind of faked the handoff and then booted out. And I think that's something that goes underrated as far as Tannehill's game's concerned. If you remember last year, he was second only to Jalen Hurts in rushing touchdowns for quarterbacks. He had, I think, like 7 or 8, something like that. So when you look at the red zone and how well they've been in the red zone, a lot of that is because of him and his mobility, because it gives you something else to have to defend. So you take that away, it makes it a lot easier. And as you mentioned, it makes it tougher on Ty Downing, who he's just in a lose-lose situation anyway. They say he doesn't get creative. He gets creative, and then they tell him it's stupid. And I would hate to be him, but that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, I think he's done pretty well with what he's got. Hey, Teron, thanks a lot. Appreciate the time as always, and we'll talk to you again here soon.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate you guys. Take it easy.
All right. Teron Davenport talking with TD, presented by Crane Works and Rental Works, your source for crane and equipment rental. Visit craneworks.com. We'll dissect a few more things, and we're taking your feedback as well. 615-737-1025. Chase, Willy, and D-Mase here on this Monday. Coming back.
At some point, it's a combination of who did you play and what does your skill set look like.
Get the best analysis of the big stories in the sports world with ESPN's Jason Fitz.
If you reach for a quarterback in the draft because you need one, you're going to set your franchise back 5 years.
Join Fitzy every Wednesday at 4:30. Presented by Blood Assurance. Jason Fitz.
I am 5'9.5"
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
All right, folks, big one on Monday Night Football. Pats, Bears. FanDuel Sportsbook has you covered. One thing that's great about FanDuel, finding new players' game props that I like. On FanDuel, you can combine these things for a bigger payout. Same game parlay. If you're talking about Bears, Pats, 2 things I like for sure. There's a lot of individual props you can go, but I like the Pats, regardless of who's at quarterback, and I like the under in this game. Same game parlay, one of many reasons to bet FanDuel. It's easy to use. It's safe and secure. You get paid fast. You got odds, boots, and specials. There's no feeling like nailing the same game parlay. Lock it in today on FanDuel Sportsbook. New customers get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with promo code Joe102. Again, that's promo code Joe102. Make every more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Got to be 21 or older in present Tennessee. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issue is now double free bets. Expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 800-889-9789.
Hey, it's Hutton. Guys, do you need an annual health exam? I recommend going to Low T Center to get your complete health assessment. They will check all of your levels, not just your T level. In most cases, it's completely covered by your health insurance. And if you don't have insurance, it's less than $100 for a full lab panel and an office visit with their medical provider to give you a complete health assessment. Low T Center specializes in men's health, making it quick and easy, even verifying your insurance. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book online. Low T Center, reinventing men's health care.
Lift it, load it, grade it, grind it, move it, haul it, rig it, dig it, Craneworks, Rentalworks, yeah! The big dog's got it.
Craneworks is ready to help lift Nashville. As the Southeast's most trusted name in crane and equipment rental for over 30 years, Craneworks offers certified operators to make sure the job is done right. Rentalworks has a diverse fleet of equipment to assist in any project, big or small. From forklifts to carry deck cranes, they have it all. When it's time for your next lift, machinery moving, or rigging project, call Craneworks. Visit craneworks.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
It's on. It's happening. Remember, you can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter.
Get out of the way. I'm watching the game.
Presented by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. I'm ready to step this up a notch. You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Preds fans, want to win tickets in the lower bowl, section 102? Just text the keyword Superbook, all one word, to the game text line. That's at 615-737-1025, and you will be entered to win. Preds try to get back on track on Thursday. Still winless since coming back from Prague. Not good news there. Another little note. According to Jordan Schultz, NFL insider, free agent offensive tackle Eric Smith, recently released from the Jets. He is signing with the Titans. I guess it looks like just more depth for the offensive line, which they need. Can he at some point be
a starter?
A better backup option than what they have? Could he be a starter?
No, can he be a starter? I don't want a backup. Can he be a starter?
Well, but you just said it. You know, when you're looking around on the street, you know that's what the.
But he's coming
thing
from
is.
Another team.
Yeah, he has only played 4 games in his career.
No,
he is from the University of Virginia. He's played for the Giants. He's played for the Cowboys. He's played for the Arizona Cardinals.
So he's
played for the Jets. He's a journeyman.
Okay.
So this would be his 5th year.
Well, this could be his landing spot where he can get it right, man. He has an opportunity, I'll tell you that.
Look, when the day the Titans signed Terrence Mitchell and Andrew Adams, I wasn't thinking, oh, here's the solution for the defense. But they both played pretty well. They both played pretty well. So we'll see. The offensive line needs help. And that brings me to the question. And I'd love to get some more people on the text line on this thing. And that is, can we please stop with the Todd Downing? Somebody has already texted today, even after a win, is it time to have Kelly start calling the plays? You know, here's what you're Todd Downing. I come in and I tell you, all right, here's what you're dealing with, Todd. Your left tackle's out for the season. We traded our best wide receiver in the offseason. We drafted a guy in the first round to replace him. He's hurt. He's out.
Yeah.
Got another rookie wide receiver. Had a good first game. He's hurt. Hadn't been back since. Hasn't been effective since.
Your second wide receiver is coming off an ACL.
Another good offensive lineman that's been a staple the last few years is out. Can't play. Your backup is a second-round pick that's been lost, hasn't been able to play very well, but he's your right guard today. So, and we can go on. Yeah. I could keep going. Maybe Derrick Henry is not quite what he's been before. He's still really darn good, but he's still maybe not at his peak. But you got to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Todd Downing is dealing with, and you still have people saying, hey, I don't really know about Todd Downing. Well, what is he supposed to do? Honestly, that's about as much as you could get from that group yesterday. Other than maybe punch it once in from the red zone, okay. But other than that, which they've been really good at up until yesterday, I thought that was about as well as you could hope to do.
Well, TD said it. I mean, listen, he's in a lose-lose situation, Downey. If he doesn't get creative and do some of these things that you see Kyle Shanahan doing and McDermott and you know, name all the rest of them that we consider the gurus of offense. If he's not doing that, then, you know, get rid of him. He's not creative enough. If he does make it happen or does call a play that's creative and it don't work, why did you try that play? Why did you do that play? That was a stupid play.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in a lose-lose situation. Here's the deal, people. He has no playmakers whatsoever on the outside. He has good players. He has solid players. But he doesn't have playmakers. Robert Woods isn't that guy he was 2 or 3 years ago. He's not. His injury, he's getting older. The injury slowed him down. He's still picking up on offense and everything else. And he doesn't have a bona fide number one guy to sort of take some of the pressure off of him. Okay? So that's one. They don't have a bona fide tight end. The guy they went out and did get and pay him all the money, he has basically been invisible with the exception of yesterday when he had 2 big catches. And nobody bet not tweet in or text in, give me this damn thing. Oh, he's showing up. Give him the ball more. No.
I agree.
After 6 weeks, he show up one game, and you tell me that, they need to get him the ball more? No, it doesn't work like that.
But that's the fire Todd Downing guy.
Exactly.
See, where's that been all year? They've had Austin Hooper the whole year. Fire Todd Downing, man. They should have been throwing it to Austin Hooper is not the guy that's going to make a difference for this offense.
He's not going to make it. He made 2 big catches, and I
applaud. He made 3. All 3 were important catches yesterday. That was great.
Exactly. I applaud him for that because they're paying him enough money where 3 good catches should be a norm for him. 3 big catches in a game should be a norm, but it hasn't been a norm. And that's why Todd Downing's job is extra hard because the people that they have brought in here that is supposed to be the playmakers, they're not making plays. If Austin Hooper would show up every game, Todd Downing's job would be a little bit easier. If they can get some consistency outside with playmaking down the field, his job would be a little bit easier, okay? If the offensive line will give Ryan Tannehill enough time to throw the football, he would have an easier job to do. But because none of these things are happening, Todd Downing's job is even harder than what it originally was, even when he had A.J. Brown. Being the offensive coordinator is hard in this league, okay? It is very hard. Then you put on top of that, you don't have bona fide playmakers, and the guys you do bring in that are supposed to be playmakers, they disappear. What is he supposed to do as a coordinator?
I agree. And so now
he has one guy, Derrick Henry. One guy.
Okay, and so let's talk about that. Yesterday for Derrick Henry, and it was clear. It was Derrick, our defense is going to put us in position to win this game. We're going to put the offense on your shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
They gave it to him 30 times, plus 3 throws to him. He gets 128 yards. Now, on the last carry, he got over 20 yards, which helps.
Well, they kind of
skews the yards per carry a little bit.
They carry
but
him
he kind
along.
of yeah, that was the big first down before that when Ben Jones got up and got all jacked up, which was great. But they were hard-earned yards yesterday, hard-earned. Tough yards.
Uh-huh.
You know, we need 2, Derrick gets you 2. You know, we need 3, Derrick gets you 3.
Mm-hmm.
Barely. You know, there was a couple of those. And there were some runs that didn't go anywhere. 30 times. So his carries the last 4 games in these wins, 20, 22, 28, and then 30 yesterday.
It's going to keep going. It's going to, in order for the Titans to continue to win, to play this form, because this is the people. Y'all want to fire Downey? Y'all want to get Downing out there? out of here, okay, I understand that. I get it. I mean, it doesn't matter if it was down and it was somebody else and his offense was doing what they're doing. I can understand it, but you got to look at the big picture too. We just told you one of sort of the sidebars. They just don't have enough playmakers. Here's the most important thing. Mike Vrabel enjoys winning this way. Okay?
He does.
Yeah. Mike Vrabel enjoys, I'm going to repeat this again. As long as it's a win, Mike Vrabel enjoys this, okay? He's a former defensive player. He likes the old school. Yeah, he likes old school stuff. He's a former defensive player. And he's gritty and grimy, and he wants the game to come down to where his defense has to step up and make a play, okay? And on offense, his mantra is just don't mess it up. Okay, moving forward, because there's not anyone else we can go out and get to make this offense much better than what it is. So offensively, Downey, just don't mess it up. Our defense will take care of the rest. Don't mess it up. We're going back to Fisher ball. This is what we're playing, people. Fisher ball. We're going to run the ball. Just pretend Derrick Henry is Eddie George, okay? I know we don't have Bruce and B-Hop and Benji and those guys. That's the issue. I understand that. But just picture Derrick Henry as Eddie George. This is all this is, okay? It is Fisher ball. But what makes it even harder is that you don't have the Frank White check. Frank would bail you out any and every time that you needed to be bailed out. He wasn't on a milk carton. He showed up every game. Well, the guy that you paid, he's not showing up every game. He had a good game this game, but he doesn't show up every game.
Let's hope that leads to something. That was good.
But Vrabel, this is the way Vrabel, he doesn't mind winning this way. He doesn't, because he understands that there's nobody else I can go get. And after 6 games, they are who they are. Denny Green said it best. They are who we thought they were. We let them off the hook. Well, the Titans are who we think they are. They're a really good defensive team. They're a pedestrian offensive team that's going to run the football and keep the game close. And if they keep the game close, they're going to win it.
And when we come back, we'll talk about, can Derrick Henry sustain having to carry the load like that many carries throughout the season? We saw what happened last year, but that to me is a big question, because it's the best that they have. It's the only way they can do it right now. Keep weighing in, 615-737-1025. We'll take your texts and calls when we get back here on 1025 The Game.
Every Monday at 6, it's the Eddie George Show live from 6th and Peabody.
When we hit the turf and clock in, we're locked in, and we're committed to our craft.
Each week, the former Titan and current TSU head coach will be joined by Outkick 360's Jonathan Hutton.
Props to you and your staff, but also to the kids that have bought into everything you're saying.
And special guests to break down the Tigers' latest game and talk all things football. The Eddie George Show, Mondays at 6 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, it's Mike from Newton Chevrolet Buick GMC. At this time of year, I think back to when I was a kid and wonder why my parents always told me to never take candy from strangers, but would then on Halloween have me knock on strangers' doors and ask for it. Weird, right? They always say strange things happen on Halloween. I guess that's true here too. Strangely enough, our cars keep disappearing, but that's probably due to our falling prices and excellent customer service. At Newton, we put customers first, we actually listen to your needs, and try to find the best and most affordable option for you. It must be working, because these cars just keep disappearing. Don't let that scare you though. We have new ones in the lot every day. So no matter if you're in the market for a new car, looking to sell your car, or looking to service your car to keep it running at its peak, come on down to Newton and check out our spooky deals, or visit us online at NewtonChevroletBuickGMC.com.
Now is a fantastic time to sell in Nashville, but you can't do it without the intel. And no one has better intel than the Gary Ashton team. You may be wondering, what is this intel I keep hearing about? Intel so you can sell your home without any staging or showings. Intel on where to find your next home so you can sell your current one while the market's hot. Intel that helps you win the buyer battle and cash in on your home equity now. Everyone else is getting the same information and competing for the same properties. GaryAshton.com gives you the edge with the best real estate intel in Nashville. No one else even comes close. Plus, the Gary Ashton team is the official real estate agent for the Preds. Get the confidence to sell your home and find your dream address without the stress. Call the Gary Ashton team with RE/MAX Advantage today at 615-301-1650 or visit GaryAshton.com. And remember, don't sell without the intel.
Tune in to ESPN 1025 The Game every Tuesday afternoon at 4:30 for ESPN's Trevor Maddich joining me, Jared Stillman, on Stillman & Company as we dive deep into the college football world and all the latest from the SEC. It's all brought to you by Houston Clinic Orthopedics, when experience matters.
When it comes to procuring my adult beverages for the big games, I saddle up and head to Red Spirits and Wine. Red's titanic selection of beer, wine, distilled spirits, and cigars is second to none. And Red's Cracker Jack crew always delivers a winning combination of service and value. There's no two ways about it. Red is top of the range. Open 7 days a week at Highway 70 South in Bellevue. And check us out at redspirits.com.
Signs First, Nashville's foremost destination for event signage and physical media. Located just minutes from Broadway, our team of design, production, and installation professionals can help you create an unforgettable event. Stand out. Be different. Go to sfnash.com.
Jonathan Hutton.
You have to put the ball in his hands in that moment.
And Chad Withrow.
My kicker's making no decisions on a football team.
Are in the game. Join them for NFL postgame after every Titans home game, live from Landshark Bar and Grill in Margaritaville on Broadway. They'll break down that day's game and look ahead to the next one. NFL postgame is presented by Two Rivers Ford, Renter's Warehouse, and Superbook Sports on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, it's Mike Greenberg, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Coming up at noon, we will have the Mike Vrabel press conference, so be listening for that. Get his thoughts a day after the 19-10 win over the Colts. Willie Donick, Derek Mason here with you on Chase, Willy, and D-Mace. Taking your calls and texts, 615-737-1025. Josh up in Kentucky says Hooper, Hollister, Henry, all combined 8 for 8 pass catching yesterday. To me, that shows the league that we're developing options besides Henry running the ball.
Whoa.
Wish Chig had some catches, but still lots of improvement from weeks
Willie,
prior.
read that again.
Hooper, Hollister, and Henry. 8 for 8 yesterday, which is true. That's true. And Hooper in particular, the 3 catches were all extremely important catches. The first one, he evades a tackler. It was right after the Colts scored to make it 10-7. Or 13-7. So the next series is about to go 3 and out, and he catches sort of the check down route, makes a guy miss, moves the chains. He catches another ball down the field that gets him, kind of backing up, tough catch.
Yeah.
Gets him a field goal out of that catch. And then, of course, the one at the end, the juggling act that got the last field goal. So all 3 came at key times. So that's progress. Hollister, he's got I think he's got 3 catches on the year. 2 of them are, quote, explosive plays, over 20 yards. But that's about as much as you can expect, right? That's maximizing the talent you have. There's not much more there. It's like squeezing the blood out of the turnip, man. There's only so much in there.
Okay. That's facts, as the kids say, facts. You're right. 3 for 3 or 8 for 8 with those guys. But if you're going to live with Cody Hollister, Derrick Henry, I'm just saying catching the football. I'm not talking about running. Derrick Henry, Cody Hollister, and Austin Hooper catching together combined 8 passes. If that's what you're going to lean on and you're going to say they're making progress, well, damn it, so be it. I can't. If you think that's progress, then okay.
He's trying to look at the
You're trying to look at it glass half full. I get it, but that's not progress. That's not progress. Anytime those 3 guys. What about the guy that Woods, that's supposed to be your, he's your second guy, your most productive guy. What about him catching, 4 or 5 passes a game? What about Chigakonkwo getting into the game? What about Dontrell Hilliard getting into the game? You're not going to scare anybody with Austin Hooper, Derrick Henry catching the football, and Cody Hollister. You're not scaring a damn defense. Why did they catch those passes? Because the defense is playing man-to-man. And they're daring you to throw it. They don't want you to get a ball to Derrick Henry. They don't. They are daring you to throw it. So if you get, and amongst all of them, we still didn't get a touchdown.
Right. And I think of some of these guys that we're talking about. Hooper was a mid-range free agent, right? He's not a huge, high-paid guy. He's a guy you're hoping has another good year or two left in him. He's a veteran player. Hollister is a guy that is basically a replacement-level guy. So these aren't – I mean, Dontrell Hilliard was basically a replacement-level guy. That he wasn't a big high draft pick or a huge free agent pickup or anything like that. Not a guy you drafted or developed. He's a guy that just you picked up at a certain time. You found he fits okay. Okonkwo's a mid-round pick. These aren't the game-changing guys. They just don't have those guys. Even Robert Woods. I'll give Robert Woods credit. He will catch the ball in traffic. He'll run his routes, but he's limited. Yes. Right? He's not quite what he was before the knee injury, and that's perfectly understandable there. He's doing the best he can, and he's about the only thing that scares you at all in terms of credentials.
He's a consummate pro. He does the things that you want him to do. He's running the right routes. He's blocking when you need to block, and believe me, when you talk about blocking, I'm just like, don't bring that up to me, because blocking is want to. I don't pay you to block. I pay you to catch footballs and score touchdowns. But he's doing all of the little things that they're asking him to do. But because of the injury, and he's been in the league a minute, I mean, he's diminishing. His play is diminishing, and what makes it more obvious that his play is diminishing, he doesn't have a number one. If he has A.J. Brown or any number one guy on the other side, it doesn't look – the diminishment doesn't look as bad. You don't see it. Why? Because now he's getting single coverage. Everybody's rolling to the number one receiver side, and he's able to get a lot of catches and freed up. But right now, he's the only true viable option in the passing game. So everybody's paying attention to him,
Yes,
and
he's going to attract the most attention, for sure.
He's looking a little bit older or a little bit more – it seems like years are put – there are more years on him than not, because he doesn't have that affordability to sit back and say, well, I'm going against the number 2 or number 3 corner, because AJ or whoever else is taking the number 1 or double teams.
I often think, and I thought this yesterday before the game started. You had Eddie George, Warren Moon, Delaney. No, CJ2K was down there. They addressed the crowd before the game, which was great. Then they announced the starting lineup. Not those guys, but then the PA guy comes on, announces the starting lineup. It is not a who's who. It is Ryan Tannehill. Not. It is Derrick Henry, and then the other guys there. Starting at right guard, Dylan Radins. Starting at left tackle, Dennis Daly. Like the crowd's like,
yeah, like who are they? Okay.
Nick Westbrook-Akine. It's just,
even though I like Nick Westbrook-Akine,
I love these guys. They get the most out of what they got, but they just. I go back to, they chose to trade A.J. Brown. If they had A.J. Brown in this offense, the offense would look different. True?
Yeah, I tell you one thing, it would make Robert Woods look a lot better.
Yes.
It truly would.
He makes everybody else better.
But even if they have Treylon Burks, if he doesn't get injured and Treylon is playing he missed the last 2 or 3 games, even if he's playing the last 2 or 3 games, it does take some pressure off of Robert Woods. Because
in fairness, it would be interesting to see if he could have kept progressing.
Because I thought he was getting it was like every week he was doing something a little bit better. He was getting more comfortable with what he was doing, the offense, and you just saw it in him. Like, okay, he's ready to have a big game. Well, now he's been sidetracked because of injury. And it doesn't only hurt him; it hurts Robert Woods as well.
Man, he is so important. Burks, short term and long term. We'll see what kind of progress he's making. Also, we are curious to hear if there's any hints of the severity of Ryan Tannehill's ankle, because I think we're all very concerned about his mobility. Even if he can play, can he move? Here's one more question for you, Derek, from the text line before we go to the break. This is for Derek. Is the offense creating the best matchups for them to be successful? Not physical matchups, but schematic matchups.
And I did mention that. What is Downing able to do? And we talked about this last week. Identifying who your playmakers are, or who has the potential to be a playmaker in this offense. Identifying them, and then schematically, incorporating them into what you want to do. I thought there were 3 guys. I was about to say Eddie George. No, not Eddie George. Derrick Henry, from a running standpoint. I'm not looking to throw the ball to him a lot. No, I know he's caught some passes, but I'm not looking to throw the ball to him a lot. Chika Okonkwo, and Dontrell Hilliard. I think those 3 guys, especially Hilliard and Chig, you got to get these guys. You got to find a way to get these guys incorporated into the offense. You just have to, whether it be by design or whatnot. You got to find a way as an offensive coordinator. And listen, I'm sure Downing took this whole bye week to try to figure that out. That's why we saw the Malik Willis on the field and them doing some, sort of off-balance stuff to Indianapolis. But I think moving forward, they're going to have to continue to do those things to kind of keep the defense off balance. Because after that Indianapolis game, this is what teams are going to do moving forward, especially if Ryan Tannehill is not as mobile. They're going to stack that box and threaten the Tennessee Titans to throw it. And this is where Downing has to be much more creative in how he design plays and how he get his playmakers open. Just because Cody Hollister catches 2 passes, just because Austin Hooper catches 3 passes, don't make them a playmaker. They're not. Your playmakers are a guy that can open up the game, that can threaten the defense. And the 2 guys or 3 guys that I said, they need to find a way to incorporate those guys more into what they're doing. And then I want to see Kyle Phillips too. Once he gets fully healthy, I want to see where is he this far along in the season. Where is he in regards to knowing the playbook and being a playmaker for this team as well?
When we come back, we'll have we'll talk more about Ryan Tannehill, what we think there, plus Derrick Henry and the workload. Can he sustain this over the long haul? Plus, continuing to take your text, 615-737-1025. Stay tuned. We're coming back with more. Don't forget Mike Vrabel at noon here on 102.5 The Game.
Silly Underdog Picks is back. Get your friends and sign up today at thegamenashville.com. Pick the 3 football underdog teams each week you think will win for a chance to win weekly prizes, like a pair of tickets to a sporting event or to a concert in Nashville. Oh, yeah! Go to thegamenashville.com or the Game Nashville app and sign up and play now. Then tune in every Thursday at noon for our expert picks. Silly Underdogs is presented by Volunteer Hose and Gasket and Superbook Sports.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
On Fox 17 Code Red, meteorologist Greg Bobus forecast for us today, taking us into the low 80s once again this afternoon. A little bit of a breeze out of the south. No rain for your Monday. Next rain chance moves in afternoon toward the evening on your Tuesday.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
It's Quaz with Little Harpeth, and I'm just having one of our Chicken Scratch American Pilsners. It's one refreshing beer and a good example of the German lagers that we craft right here in Nashville. Chicken Scratch is made with locally sourced raw white corn, giving it a subtle cornbready sweetness. And speaking of sweetness, Chicken Scratch's closest associate goes by the name of Deer Crossing Hellas, also a lager with a light, crisp body and golden color, and it won us a gold medal at the Great American Beer Festival. So be on the lookout for our craft lagers. And as always, thank you for supporting our little brewery.
One of the best things to happen here over the last year is the arrival of QC Kinetics. Willy Donick here. QC Kinetics is helping people in our area get real, lasting relief from their joint pain with the latest in regenerative medicine. No drugs, no downtime, no steroids, no surgery. In fact, QC Kinetics has tripled in size. Now with clinics in Nashville, Clarksville, and Murfreesboro, one near you. So if you have pain in your knees, hips, shoulder, back, whatever joint it is, don't think steroids and surgery are your only options. Regenerative medicine treatments at QC Kinetics use natural biologics, healing agents from your own body. It restores and repairs the damaged joint tissue. Pro athletes have been doing this for years, and now it's available to you and me. So many people here have done this and are raving about how they got their life back without that nagging daily pain. Appointments are available as soon as next week, and the consultation is free. So call QC Kinetics and learn how modern precision medicine can help you deal with the pain caused by arthritis or injury without drugs or surgery. QC Kinetics in Nashville, Clarksville, and Murfreesboro. 615-249-4024 for the consultation. That's 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Jared Stillman.
This is a team that the entire city is losing their minds over.
Caroline Fenton.
It's one of the youngest teams in the league. They don't have a single player over the age of 30.
Stillman and Company. Afternoons from 2 to 6.
Presented by TriStar Moving.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app. This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Preds fans, don't miss this Wednesday. It'll be the next edition of Smashville Live at 6 o'clock at Brewhouse South in Cool Springs. Hang out with Skillsy, D-Mac, see your Predator star players up close and personal. Get autographs and pictures. It'll be Cody Glass and Cole Smith on Wednesday night. Smashville Live, brought to you by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, Little Harpeth Beer, and Superbook Sports. Willie Donick, Derek Mason here with you. Mike Vrabel coming up at noon. Derek, we mentioned this at the beginning of the show. You and I have both had high ankle sprains. I had it as a baseball player in the minor leagues in Medicine Hat. Knocked me out for a while, man. It was brutal. You had it.
I had it when I played here. It might have been, my sixth? Yeah, it might have been my 6th year. So that might have been, 2003?
Skillsy had it as a hockey player. It's the same
joke.
thing every time. Now, let me just say up front, like I said in the 10 o'clock hour, I'm totally speculating here. I just watched as closely as I can, and there weren't great replays of Ryan Tannehill's injury. We know it's the right ankle. But the way he popped out he got knocked down by Nicholas Petit-Frere. Petit-Frere got pushed into Tannehill after he threw the pass to Mason Kinsey. He got up awkwardly. He first grabbed his knee, and that's when you're really thinking, oh boy, here's a guy that's had a torn ACL. You're thinking that could be really bad. Then you realize it's the ankle. He's limping around. He goes into the tent. They do whatever they do in there. He comes back. He's limping around. He goes back in the game. But each series, he looked like he was less and less mobile. So even if he wasn't feeling the pain, that's the thing about the high ankle. It just, your ankle doesn't work. That's my experience with the high ankle. If that's what it is, I'm concerned. Even if he can play, which I think will be, depends on the severity of it, if his mobility is compromised, which I think is realistic here, can they get by, or would they be better off using Malik Willis, you think?
Well, I mean,
or maybe a combination.
I think it would be a combination of the both, of the two, excuse me. yes. I mean, you could sort of get away with it for a while because you could put Tannehill in the shotgun. He can hand the ball off to Derek that way. He can throw the ball from that position because he's not backpedaling, taking 3, 5, 7-step drops. He's already back there. But I think the problem comes in when the pocket starts collapsing and he's not mobile enough to get outside the pocket. That's where, that injury, comes into play. And then you're in the back of your mind, you're like, I don't want anybody to fall on it. So will he go down quicker, in a situation than maybe he would have? Would he just give himself up to the sack quicker than what he would have had he not been injured?
Yeah.
All those, you got to factor all those things. And the offensive line is not the greatest pass blocking team. So
not at all.
You would sort of have to go into a lot of max protect because you can then run the ball off of it. You can play action. But you're going to have to do whatever you need to do to protect the quarterback.
And the Raiders ran all over Houston last week or yesterday. It was Josh Jacobs had a career day.
So that's a plus for the Titans.
So
they can do the same
it
thing.
does look like you have a matchup to where you can do what your comfort zone is, and that's just run the you-know-what out of it with number 22. You just hope that you're not taxing him too much. So, I mean, he was on pace for well over 400 carries last year before he got hurt. We're kind of moving back towards that, the way they've leaned on him during this winning streak. But you got to do what you got to do. My other concern is if I'm totally speculating here, if it is a high ankle sprain or something like that, it doesn't go away. It takes a long time to get back to full mobility. So we may not be talking about trying to deal with it for 1 week. It may be multiple weeks, which is that's my concern anyway. Maybe I'm worrying too much here, but the way he popped up, the way the action was there, where your ankle kind of turns inwardly, that reminds me of a lot of high ankle sprains I've seen, and that it just can take a long time before you really feel right.
Well, they're going to need him moving forward. The Houston game, it's going to be, that's going to be a tough game, especially when your quarterback is less than himself. He's battling an injury. So that's going to make that matchup even more difficult from an offensive standpoint. Then you got Kansas City that you got to go to. Then you got Denver coming in here. Then you got Green Bay. So that's before you even get to sort of the gauntlet of your schedule. The gauntlet is Cincinnati, Philadelphia, Jacksonville, Chargers. Those 4 games right there. So they're going to have to do whatever. Hopefully it's not a high ankle sprain. Hopefully it's something that's day-to-day where if they can get a lot of treatment, him not practicing a lot this week, they can get the swelling down and get him to a point where, he can be at least 80% of himself out there on the field. Because they're going to need this Houston win because it starts getting real moving forward. Again, the first 6 games they played 2 playoff teams. 2 playoff teams, and they lost. The other 4, non-playoff teams. Well, what's coming up? Playoff team, non-playoff team. Green Bay's still in the playoff, even though they're not playing well. I think they still lead their division or tied for their division.
Yeah, somehow.
Somehow. Cincinnati, they're still.
But you say Green Bay? Green Bay's behind Minnesota.
Oh yeah, they're behind
Minnesota's
Minnesota.
Doing
because
well.
Minnesota's 5-1 or 4-1, somewhere around there. So they're still in the mix. Cincinnati,
it's still Green
obviously.
Bay. It's still Lambeau Field. It's still Aaron Rodgers.
Jacksonville, and then Philadelphia, and the Chargers. That gauntlet, I didn't even throw Dallas in there. So they're going to need Ryan Tannehill to be as healthy as he possibly can. So even if he possibly can get away with not playing this game, that may be better. If it indeed go like the injury goes into the week where he's not doing anything, then why would he not practice? I don't know if Ryan's the guy that doesn't need to practice but can go out and play, that Sunday and, light it up. I don't know if he can do that or not. But if he doesn't practice this week, you're almost in a situation where let's play Malik Willis, let's have Ryan the backup. But again, what do? We rely on our defense and the running game.
And
That's
number 22.
Exactly. With what the Vegas Raiders did to Houston last week, this past weekend, running the football, the Titans are taking notice of that, especially when their quarterback is restricted in what he can do from a mobility standpoint.
The next 3, at Houston, at KC, Denver at home. Those are the next 3 for the Titans. But first things first, we'll hear from Mike Vrabel. We'll hear how things came out yesterday. Do we get any insight on the severity of Ryan Tannehill? I'm guessing no. But we'll get what he has to say coming up here in just a couple of minutes. We'll break it down for you here on Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
You love the game.
Tennessee touchdown! Middle Tennessee gets the score.
We live the game.
Just work on the little things every day.
They think the coaches are just coaches.
We are.
We got pass rushers.
Checkered flag in the air.
Awesome game 7.
What a stop made by UC Sarah.
The Game. Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Have you seen the selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex watches they now have at Genesis Diamonds? If not, prepare to be amazed.
If people really know the watch world, they come in and they're in shock. They're like, I cannot believe you have this selection here. They're able to see them, touch them, feel them.
Meet Genesis watch expert Charlie Rivers, who says over the past few years, Genesis buyers have scoured the world to build a collection of luxury pre-owned Rolexes, including all the hard-to-find models.
Daytonas, Pandas, Sky Dwellers, a huge selection of Submariners, Hulks, Kermits, anything that you could ever possibly want. We have every luxury pre-owned Rolex that we have here. We ensure that it's in pristine condition.
So come in today and find the timepiece of your dreams at Genesis. Or if you already own a Rolex and are looking to trade for a different model or even sell it, Genesis can help you get top dollar.
If you have a Rolex, definitely bring it in. I would love to see it and do a complimentary evaluation on it and see what we can do for you.
Genesis Diamonds, now with one of the largest selections of luxury pre-owned Rolexes in America. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Lift it, load it, grade it, grind it, move it, haul it, rig it, dig it, Craneworks, Rentalworks, yeah! The big dog's got it.
Craneworks, the Southeast leader for crane and equipment rental, is looking for the best in the business to fill positions as qualified operators, truck drivers, and mechanics. Craneworks provides superior customer service and a superior work environment. Start lifting Nashville to new heights and apply today at craneworks.com/careers. That's craneworks.com/careers.
Get your game on at Social Furniture with their fall specials. Entertain in style and make your social experience more comfortable and inviting. Everyone loves to socialize. That's why you need new furniture. Shop today at Social Furniture to get your home ready for the holidays with package deals on new living rooms, dining rooms, and bedroom sets with top brand names. Save big. Professional same-day delivery and installation. Finance interest free. Huge selection in stock. Shop local. Shop social. Visit Social Furniture at 5412 Charlotte Avenue.
3 decades of bluegrass, folk, country, and punk from one city, Los Angeles, where country rock was created and changed the world of popular music. Don't miss Western Edge, the roots and reverberations of Los Angeles country rock, a major exhibition at the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum, featuring artists from Buffalo Springfield and the Byrds, to Linda Ronstadt, the Eagles and Emmylou Harris, to the Blasters and Dwight Yoakam. Witness Western Edge today. The exhibit is presented by City National Bank.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Chase Elliott scores the win in the Ally 400 at the Nashville Super Speedway.
Nashville's exclusive home for NASCAR. 102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
We got pass rushers.
Awesome game.
Checkered flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Now let's see if we can bring them to life, all right?
Bringing you entertainment and informative sports talk during your workday.
Smart, funny, classy, and I like him a lot.
This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase with Chase McCabe, Willy Donick,
Mason, touchdown, Tennessee,
and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
This is a new level of geek you got going on here.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, noon hour. Let's go over to Titans World and hear from Mike Vrabel.
Opportunity to be here.
just circumstances of a short week or a bunch of injuries or COVID or being away. So we'll always try to figure out a way to make them get prepared, but just being smart.
How do you evaluate Malik? What you've seen from him in practice so far?
Well, I mean, I think he's continued to improve. He's taken the ownership of the show team, and that's where every backup quarterback gets their reps. But still understanding the game plan and still being ready to go. And so I kind of like where that's been the last couple of weeks. I thought it was maybe the first week of the season was something that was new for him, and we had conversation about how he needs to operate and get those guys to function, whether it's preparing for the next week's game. So I think it's been good.
You talked a lot about Ryan's toughness yesterday, but to be able to finish in game and kind of step up and make a big throw to Austin late, how important was that? And was he one of those guys who refused to not finish?
Yeah, I mean, it would be hard to keep some of those guys from trying to go back in and doing everything that they possibly can to help the football team. Ryan is just one example of that, of many. But he certainly had all intentions of doing everything that he could to get back there. And with any injury, we've been through this as it relates to us, is how we identify if guys can continue to play. Can they make it worse? Are they going to be able to reasonably do their job, and can they up to the expectations that we have for them, and can they protect themselves? So, when he was able to progress through, big throw, but the few times that we needed to progress, the line gave us that opportunity. So that was also really good to see. And then, Ryan was able to get the ball down there to hoop late.
The use of Malik out wide a couple of times and on the aborted handoff. Was that more product of being shorthanded at the wide receiver position and putting him there, or just trying to put a new wrinkle in and add something else to the
I think
offense?
probably a little bit of both, wanting to make sure that, we're doing things that we think can help us and, Malik's ability. So we'll see where that package goes. And, thought we had a good play. Thought we really liked, where things were and what it would look like. And unfortunately, we just weren't able to execute on that particular play. But, we'll try to keep doing things that we feel like, can help us and his skill set and seeing where things go.
You talked a lot about how proud you are to coach the guys on this team. When you see a bunch of your stars picking themselves off the turf and getting back into the game and helping you win in the manner you did yesterday, was yesterday on near the top of the list of how proud you've been?
Probably, yeah. You just I don't think that people realize what they go through, whether they start in college or you end up as a professional athlete, the toll that this game takes and what it can give you, but also, what it can take away from you. And they put a lot in. They compete. It's violent. And, just really, got a lot of respect for, I would say, the majority of these guys that are finding ways no matter what. And just each and every week, far less than 100%. During the game, things come up, and they get evaluated. And you can just tell that it means a lot to them. So, I'm grateful to be able to work with them every day.
But Dupree, he said a moment, Mike, with Ben Jones in the tunnel yesterday. What'd you say to him?
I mean, I think obviously these things aren't. I just appreciate them, and that'll stay between me and Ben. But I just you come to work every day, you hear a lot of hours. And you get a lot of respect for guys, the way they are as people, the way they are as teammates and players and parents and husbands. And so, to be able to see what it means to these guys, it's not just another game. It's not just a paycheck. So I just really appreciate what they do.
With Bud Dupree, he said that he plays with so much energy because it's contagious and he wants to create other opportunities. When you see him in the game, can you feel a difference in the energy level? And if so, why is that?
Well, I mean, I think that we all expect to play hard, whether Bud's in there or not. And, we appreciate Bud's effort, and he does run to the football. But, Jeff Simmons been running to the football. He makes 3 or 4 plays down the field. That's the expectation for defensive football, is that you play full tilt to the tackle whenever you're in there. So it was good to have Bud back out there. We're gonna expect to play hard on defense with whoever's out there.
Does Bud allow you to do more things or just do things better?
I don't think it allows us to do things. We don't want to do a whole lot much. We got a lot of moving parts, and I think where we're at right now is guys starting to understand what we're doing. We didn't give up X plays. A couple times we gave up leverage, but a couple of times we were in man coverage and we're really tight. And then the zone execution, I thought, was much better than it was in previous weeks.
What did Monty do, maybe in a different role in the package you used with him and had Andrew deep? How'd that work?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought he represented himself well in what we asked him to do on early downs, and then he lost leverage on the one with Pittman, but I think with time and understanding, I would see him being able to make that play, but his versatility is great. We'll see where he ends up this week.
How big an adjustment is that for him to move in? How big an adjustment is that for him to move down into the slot like that?
Well, I think you'd have to ask Amani because it didn't, from the looks of things, again, this isn't me saying that it's easy or not. It's just from the looks of things, he looked like he handled what we were asking him to do fairly well from a communication and an execution. So I think that would have to be a great question for him just to say, but going into the game, I think whether he played there or not, he would be able to tell you what the corner had, what the nickel had, and what the safety has pretty much on every call that we have.
On the coaching end of that, when you guys come up with that and install it during the week and then see it work successfully, not how gratifying it is, but how much fun is that part of the job to kind of craft something and then see it come to fruition?
Well, I think what's gratifying is that you see improvement from players. That's where coaches get the satisfaction. You try to spend countless hours, thinking about technique, thinking about, hey, how would I do this? How would we expect the player to reasonably do this? They use the technique. It works. They have success. You continue to build small victories, and then you can make significant changes because there's buy-in. When players see improvement, they know that you can help them and that they trust you. And then we're all working on the same page. But we don't sit around and pat ourselves on the back. That's not what we're about. We're trying to help the players and make sure that we're putting them in positions to help them succeed, and they go out and execute.
Beyond Randy being 4 for 4 on field goals, was yesterday maybe one of the better all-around days for special teams? It seemed like that the coverage units won the field position battle.
Yeah, they did. I think we could punt better. I think we could cover punts better. I didn't like some of those longer returns. But we ran down there on kickoff with speed. Unfortunately, we had the penalty on kickoff return, so it's probably you're giving it probably a little better review than maybe I am. But Randy, that was great to see. We had one good return with Hassan, who continues to run hard back there and break some arm tackles, and just unfortunate that we start with the penalty. So there's a lot of things to improve on, but I appreciate your optimism.
You mentioned the zone execution was better yesterday. Why did it improve?
Well, because we didn't get the ball thrown over our head, or we weren't covering guys at 3 or 4 yards. There was some instances in the first game where we were, just jumping down on things and, giving them some easy throws over our head. And, we forced the ball to be thrown in front. And, when the longest play is 20 yards and the next couple are 14, you make them earn it, which then opens up more opportunities for us to affect the quarterback or knock the football out or intercept it. But when you have these long, explosive plays, it changes field position. Now they're in the red zone, and they're in their scheme plays and everything else. So that was probably just forcing them to throw it underneath and be able to break and tackle and go from there.
So like individual improvement, just not making mistakes, or communication collectively?
No, I think just overall understanding of what it is that has to happen in each coverage. The coverage understanding, and again, they. On the touchdown, on Andrew's touchdown, there was great communication. I think Kevin made a check, and you could see guys quickly get into position. The ball was then snapped, and then ultimately they executed the call. So that's, I think, a great example of being able to adjust and the players communicating, getting lined up, and then ultimately executing the play for a big play.
Take away the kneel down. You guys ran Derek 15 of 19 second down. So do you say, hey, we won and that worked, that's our identity? Or do you say, hey, going forward, we need to mix it up?
We're going to try to do whatever we can do to win the football game each and every week. That's what I would continue to say.
Moving Amani down into the slot kind of helped Roger go outside a little bit more. What was your assessment of him kind of making that adjustment, taking majority of his snaps outside?
I thought it was okay. I thought it was, fairly competitive. Lost the leverage on the one inside, but that wasn't like he was playing outside. He went in and stabbed the ball from Pierce on the strike. Didn't swat at it, didn't foul him, was square at the top, and went through and did what we coach him to do.
The ball yesterday, and obviously it paid off at the end of the Terrence. Where's the balance on that with making the tackle and punching away at it?
Well, I think every time you go to make a tackle, you have to figure out what position you're in. Are you in an open field tackle where the objective is just to get them on the ground? And if you ask any of our players in an open field situation, the clear objective is to find a way to get him on the ground and not cause a fumble. We don't need a big hit. We need to make sure that he ends up on the ground. Or is it a vice tackle? Are you working with another player? And then you want to come inside out, and the first guy is going to keep his angle, and the second guy in is going to try to hammer at the ball. Is it a defensive lineman that's chasing from inside out? Or is it a box tackle, where, there's not a whole lot of space and, you're in between the tackles. So there's a lot of different situations. I think you see us work in the open field. But when there's another guy around and you're in a vice tackle situation, we really want you, trying to focus on the football.
Worry Bud's going to miss and kill somebody at some point? I mean, he's throwing haymakers at the football out there.
Well, I know that they're, him and Jeff were running down there chasing the football, and, we just have to hope that it continues to maybe it comes out.
Robert Woods has made the most of his opportunities, and have you seen him make some tough catches across the middle in the past couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think Robert is doing everything that we asked him to do. It felt like he was open on the strike. Ryan thought that there was a little bit of traffic, so he progressed through and hit Cody for our longest gain of the day. I thought he blocked well. Ryan pulled it, and he was protecting the quarterback, and did have some tough catches in traffic. Talked to him about reaching the ball. I don't think we need to do that, but being able to take the contact and being available over the middle is certainly a great quality.
Show product. How did Radens do in his start yesterday versus compared to his start 2 weeks ago against Washington?
I think it was about the same. I don't, I think there were some plays that, that need to be better. There's some plays there that, we would expect him to be able to make and be able to adjust to. But then there were other plays where he was, was good. He helped us in the run game, or he replaced his hands and, had the penalty, which, that isn't something that we're looking for, but is going to happen. And I'm sure he was geared up, ready to go. But we just have to fix those things and, make sure that they don't hurt us the next time.
Were you going to snap it down there when he jumped?
Guess we'll never know, Jim.
Any practice windows opening this week, Mike? Elijah or anyone else?
It's only Monday, so I wouldn't be able to tell you that, hopefully.
Schobert, I guess, elevated 3 times. What's kind of been your eval on him, and do you see him as a guy that might get, signed permanently? Or
we would have most of the week to decide that. But I think he's done what we've asked him to do, is play a couple different positions, which he has. He's played on the edge for us, played inside, helped us on some special teams, and so we'll see where it is as the week progresses and see who's available and see who we need for the game.
What made Eric Smith appealing?
Same thing. A lot of guys that come in and have a good workout, and continuing to add some players at positions that we want to try to get some depth at.
So that's Mike Vrabel talking. Eric Smith is an offensive tackle, offensive lineman who's played guard and tackle for NFL. And those guys are playing big roles now.
Josh Gordon.
Never know. Josh Gordon, they're going to win the other way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's Mike Vrabel today. When we come back, we'll hear what he said specifically, if you missed the beginning, about Ryan Tannehill, what little we do know and where it goes from here, and break down a couple other highlights from today's press conference. Stay tuned. You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase here on 102.5 The Game.
College football.
Touchdown, Georgia. Nice catch and move by Holden. Touchdown.
Lives here. Don't miss every exciting play each Saturday.
Into the end zone. Touchdown to the freshman, Dane Key.
It's all presented by Twin Peaks, your home of 20-degree drafts and wall-to-wall sports, and by Superbook Sports on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. You'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results are guaranteed or your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Hey, it's Mike from Newton Ford South. At this time of year, I think back to when I was a kid and wonder why my parents always told me to never take candy from strangers, but would then on Halloween have me knock on strangers' doors and ask for it. Weird, right? You know, they always say strange things happen on Halloween. I guess that's true here too. Strangely enough, our cars keep disappearing, but that's probably due to our falling prices and excellent customer service. At Newton, we put customers first. We actually listen to your needs and try to find the best and most affordable option for you. It must be working because these cars just keep disappearing. Don't let that scare you though. We have new ones in the lot every day. So no matter if you're in the market for a new car, looking to sell your car, or looking to service your car to keep it running at its peak, come on down to Newton and check out our spooky deals or visit us online at newtonfordsouth.com.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
There's no place like the #1 sports bar to finish out baseball season. Which team are you batting for? Twin Peaks in Cool Springs. Made from scratch food, signature 29-degree draft beers, and all the scenic views.
Hey, Robbie Stanley here. Now's the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. All you got to do is sign up with promo code ROB. Lots of things we're learning in the NFL. One of those things is I'm starting to lean taking the under on the Packers games and taking the under on the Titans games as well. But you can take it any way you want to take it. Just make sure you do it on FanDuel. They've got great live betting options, updated odds for every game, and you get your winnings paid quickly as well. All in an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So sign up today with promo code ROB for your no-sweat first bet. Once again, that promo code is ROB. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
In 1972, a Nashville family business story began when Bill and Beverly Finley founded Volunteer Hose and Gasket. 3 generations have grown the business into the local industry leader supplying just about anything to anybody, from the largest of contractors to your neighbor that mows his own yard. Over 1 million items in stock: belts, belting accessories, gaskets, gauges, hose fittings, hydraulics, industrial hoses, lubricants, sealing products, tubing, fire protection, and more. All at volunteerhose.net. If Volunteer Hose and Gasket doesn't have it, then you probably don't need it. Call them at 615-242-0461.
We want to hear from you. Thanks for taking the call. Join the conversation. Call or text at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. I'm ready to step this up a notch. You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Limited or can't go for a day or two, how much harder is it to not have that guy at that position versus maybe some other positions for practice?
Well, I mean, I think we need everybody. The quarterback, is vital to the execution. We'll continue to see where Ryan is, and we'll get everybody ready that we feel like needs to get ready.
The first several questions, as you can imagine, were all about Ryan Tannehill. Just trying to, all you can do is try to read what Mike Vrabel is saying. Did you read anything in? It sounds like just from the words he's using, there is concern for sure. He certainly was not closing down any questions about Malik Willis at the position. He talked a lot about Malik Willis. He's making progress running the scout team, or as he calls it, the show team, learning the game plan. But as we've been saying for weeks, it's really hard to know how Malik Willis is progressing, and you won't really know until he's got to get in there. And it's too early to tell whether they're going there. But it seemed to me, just in listening to Mike Vrabel there, that they have to be prepared for some different things this week, depending on how the ankle reacts.
Well, yeah, they're going to have to. Obviously you would want Ryan Tannehill to be able to practice every day. But, if his ankle doesn't allow him to do that, then now you got to start thinking, long term, meaning how do we need to change our offense any, ahead of this Houston game? That's what I mean by long term. I don't mean, 2 or 3 games more. I'm just saying for this game, what do we do offensively that we can cater more toward Malik Willis' skill set, what he can do as a passer and a runner. How do we scale down our offense a little bit, or how do we give this misdirection in our offense? Because now it's a double problem, because your offensive line is not blocking well. Then you got a rookie quarterback underneath center. I've never seen in a situation like that it works out. So they need to know, I guess by Wednesday, because that'll be the first day they practice. Today is sort of like a, go over the film, get treatment, corrections, and shake out, which means run a little bit, whatnot. And then tomorrow's off, and they come back Wednesday to install the first part of their offense. So if Ryan is not available for Wednesday, then you have to, as a coordinator and a head coach, you have to start thinking about alternatives. How do we tweak this game plan so that we can put Malik Willis in the best position to succeed as a quarterback? Considering our offensive line hasn't been good this year. They've been okay, but they haven't, we haven't been able to lean on them when it comes to pass blocking. I think we just need to watch the whole, we need to listen to Vrabel, because he's going to be asked a lot of questions moving forward about Ryan Tannehill. Can he play? Did he practice? How did he look? Yada, yada, yada. So we just need to listen to what he's saying in these interviews, because he'll tell you, in a subtle way, he'll tell you whether, hey, listen, he can go, or all right, we need to get Malik Willis up to speed, and we need to possibly scale down our offense a little bit.
I don't think that you have to know today, but
No, you
have
don't.
to, but you have to prepare for a number of different ways it can go, depending on how the injury reacts the next couple of days. He has a pretty good idea how Ryan Tannehill is feeling today, I'm sure. And the one little subtle hint he gave, he said he may have a lighter week getting ready for Houston. And that you said this last hour. It's very possible he won't practice at all, or not, at least not until Friday, maybe. But the question is, can he move?
Yeah.
And so there will be an opportunity for Malik Willis probably to get a lot of reps this week. And so they don't have to say anything until Wednesday. But, man, I'd really be surprised if he can practice much on Wednesday. I'll be pleasantly surprised if that's the case. But as we were saying before, it looks like a classic high ankle to me. Now, they didn't say anything like that. And I don't think they have to specify high ankle versus any other kind. Like if his ankle was broken or something, he would not have been able to come back in the game. It looks like a twisted ankle of some sort. They taped it up, but the way it turned looks to me like the high ankle, which is a longer recovery. Like, for example, David Njoku, who was having a couple of pretty good games for the Browns, it was having an excellent game yesterday, has a high ankle sprain. And they said he is out for 2 to 5 weeks. Now, there's different degrees, of course, but 2 to 5 weeks for a high ankle sprain is not unusual. Also on the injury front, Breece Hall for the Jets, who was having a really good rookie season. One of the reasons why the Jets have made a big step forward, they won again yesterday. They won in Denver. So they've won in Green Bay and in Denver, the Jets, in back-to-back weeks. Torn ACL, out for the season for Breece Hall. Not good news for the Jets. And Mike Williams, also another, that looked really bad. He got twisted all around his knee, ankle, so that doesn't look, he's going to have an MRI on the ankle for the Chargers. So the Chargers, who are a lot of people's sexy Super Bowl pick,
doesn't
not
look that
looking
way.
too good.
I mean, they still got to win a record at 4-3, but I mean, that division 4-3 ain't gonna get you first place. I tell you that. The Titans have had their injuries. But the good thing about what has happened to them, say Harold Landry, for instance. Well, Harold Landry got hurt before the season started, so they were able to adjust to him not being there. And we see the defense. They're fine. Now, they would be much better with Harold Landry, but this is a good defense. Amani Hooker has missed some games, but it wasn't to the point where he was going to be gone 4, 5, 6 games. He missed a couple of games because of concussion, but the defense still held their own. Offensively, this is where they can't continue to have these injuries because Taylor Lewan goes down. Now, was Taylor playing great? No, but he was a staple on that left side. And he brought energy, and he brought an attitude. So you felt good with Taylor on that side. But you can't, continue to throw Dylan Raytons in there because Nate Davis is injured. If Ryan Tannehill goes down, then you got to go to Malik Willis. At this stage, I don't know if he's ready to be that guy, for more than 1 or 2 games. I just don't. I think the kid will be good eventually, but I just don't think he's ready right now.
Yeah, that's
and his offense is not equipped for him to shoulder the load. Maybe Ryan
to start with.
Yeah, Ryan, yes, but Malik Willis, no.
That is an issue if that becomes something. And I gotta think this is going to be an interesting week to watch. Stay tuned. We'll have more coming. We'll talk about the defensive side. Some of the things that Mike Vrabel said about his team's defense when we return on the other side here on 102.5 The Game.
Wednesday night. Come out to Brewhouse South in Cool Springs for Smashville Live. Featuring Preds players Cody Glass and Cole Smith. The show begins at 6. Smashville Live is presented by Superbook Sports, Little Harpeth Beer, and Cool Springs Heating and Cooling on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This segment of ESPN 102.5 The Game is brought to you by Train Heating and Cooling Systems. Tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent train dealer. Traininfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
Hey, it's Hutton for the Low T Center. Guys, if you've noticed a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be low T. Schedule your complete health assessment at Low T Center. They now offer the convenience of monitored self-injected home testosterone treatments for $155 a month cash pay or covered by most health insurance. If you don't live near a Low T Center or you just need the convenience of at-home treatment, Low T Center makes it easy to get started. Only your first 2 visits are in person. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book online. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
When I came to Genesis, I was completely shocked and surprised.
That's Tara Michelle, but like so many of her customers, she's made the switch to Genesis.
Now working at Genesis, I'm able to offer my customers more inventory, more selection, better pricing, better warranties and guarantees.
And Tara loves that now she's got access to the top designers and all the latest ring styles, over 4,000 choices.
The picture that she's captured on Instagram, they show me that picture. I don't have just one option for them. I have plenty, and we're going to hit it out of the park every single time. I'm not only getting the customers exactly what they want style-wise, but the price is going to be unbeatable, without a doubt, hands down.
And unlike the other stores, Tara's not working on commission at Genesis, so less stress for everyone.
I'm not putting pressure on the customer to purchase because no one's putting pressure on me to sell. I have the freedom to make it a personal experience for them.
Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
3 decades of bluegrass, folk, country, and punk from one city, Los Angeles, where country rock was created and changed the world of popular music. Don't miss Western Edge, the roots and reverberations of Los Angeles country rock, a major exhibition at the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum, featuring artists from Buffalo Springfield and the Byrds, to Linda Ronstadt, the Eagles and Emmylou Harris, to the Blasters and Dwight Yoakam. Witness Western Edge today. The exhibit is presented by City National Bank.
Jonathan Hutton.
You have to put the ball in his hands in that moment.
And Chad Withrow.
My kicker's making no decisions on a football team.
Are in the game. Join them for NFL postgame after every Titans home game. Live from Landshark Bar and Grill in Margaritaville on Broadway. They'll break down that day's game and look ahead to the next one. NFL postgame is presented by Two Rivers Ford, Renter's Warehouse, and Superbook Sports on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Pete Weber. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk. ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase here on 102.5 The Game, live from the Hillside Medical Game Studio. Follow us on Instagram at 102.5 The Game Nashville. Willie Donick, Derek Mason here with you. D-Mase, I listened to Mike Vrabel. I think he's pretty excited about the defense, cautiously so. But he did take some time to talk about tackling. He talked about utilizing players in different roles, such as Amani Hooker basically becoming the nickelback, so that they could use Adams in a role that he was more comfortable in. It is good. I mean, you look back when they lost Harold Landry, everyone was looking at Rashad Weaver, who's played pretty well, but the key move was moving Autry out there and using more Tierre Tart in the middle, who's turned into a really good player. So they've done a very good job moving the pieces around, and he said the key is understanding, the defense understanding what we're doing. Yesterday, they played it to a T. They pressured the passer. They gave up basically no explosive plays to speak of. You know, nothing got behind them. And if there's one thing that I think he was upset about, the way the defense was playing before that, they gave up a few too many of those. Washington got a couple. You know, if you cannot give up those long plays that change field position, he says, then you go a long way to winning games. And so he likes the fact that there's a good understanding of that with the defense. They trust the coaching staff. There's good communication. So I think you got a good thing going right now. And he was asked about Bud Dupree, and he was basically saying, look, it's not about one guy coming back in. It's just about collectively everybody understanding. And, obviously Bud Dupree does make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, Bud does make a difference. But I think Coach Vrabel is telling everyone, listen, this defense that we have outside of Jeffrey Simmons, because he's the one true, like you lose Jeffrey Simmons now, the defense might change. Some.
Yes.
Or it will, not might, it will. But everyone else, I don't want to say they're interchangeable, but they are, it's hard to say they're interchangeable because I know, watching them, I know every guy brings sort of this skill level to the defense, and they're playing within the scheme of the defense. They're not trying to do, when the Titans give up big plays, they try to do, like in the first game with the Giants. If Bud Dupree if he holds the line of scrimmage, if he holds, if he stays outside instead of trying to slip in and make the tackle, Saquon Barkley doesn't get 65 yards. But he's trying to do more than what the defense is asking him. He's trying to be a hero, and he jumps inside, runs into Jeffrey Simmons, and away Saquon goes to 60-something yards. What Vrabel is saying is, just do your job. This defense is built on guys just doing their job. Don't do no more than what we are asking you. I don't care if you're Jeffrey Simmons. Jeffrey Simmons, if you do your job, you're going to be one of the best interior linemen in the NFL. And he is. Why?
I thought he was incredible.
Because he's doing his job.
Yep.
He's not trying to do everybody else's job. His job is making everybody else's job easier, but he's doing what he do. Bud Dupree can't deviate from that. T.R. Tark can't deviate from that. Weaver can't. We put you in here. You do what we ask you to do. You will make a play. Don't worry about it. Just don't give up anything over your head. And what has this defense been able to do? Make plays when they needed to. Why? Because guys have been in a position to make that play. Why? Because they're doing exactly what coach wants them to do. Nothing more, nothing less. They're playing 100% within their little circle. They're playing 100%. Now the guy next to you in his own circle has to play 100% and try not to get in yours.
And that's when really good defenses come together.
Yeah.
When you have that great understanding of everybody's job. He was talking about Amani Hooker understands the different roles, so that makes it easier for him to switch and play a different spot. All that being said, we know that there's a big decision with Bud Dupree coming at the end of the season. He makes so much money. That was an impactful game, I thought, for him. He had a lot of pressures. I saw a stat. The guy we had on from ESPN, the analytics guy that we had on last week, he put a list of guys who had the most wins in pass rushing. You can look at it that way or just do the eye test. It didn't all show up, but, for example, the pick six, that's a heavy pressure for Bud Dupree. He wasn't blocked, but he did have a sack. He had other times where he was just in there. He was forcing Ryan to make quick, tough decisions.
Yes.
So I thought if we could bottle that up, just give me that every week, I feel really good about the pass rush, even without Harold Landry.
Yeah, and that's what you're getting from this team. You're getting guys doing what they're supposed to do, but doing it aggressively and full speed. They know.
But do you think he's a difference maker when he's right? Mike Vrabel was kind of hesitant to sort of give him a lot of praise with a couple of questions that had that effect.
Difference. I consider Jeffrey Simmons a difference maker.
There's no question about that.
I consider Kevin Byard a difference maker. Bud Dupree, if he's doing what he's supposed to do, he can make a difference in the game. But he's not making those other guys better.
So it sounds to me like down the road with his price tag, he may or may not. He may not be worth that level long term.
There's a possibility because this defense operates well with just about. You could put another good player in there, and they're still
he's
going
replaceable.
He's still
for a lesser number
because of the way they run their defense and what coach is asking of them within the defense. Again, he's not asking them to do anything that is outside of the framework of what they can do or their ability to do it. He's saying, I'm putting you here for a specific reason because your ability to play the game within this little space is what we're looking for. That's it. We're not asking you to do anything else. And I just think Bud Dupree, don't be surprised if come trade deadline, he's one of those guys that could potentially be traded.
Bud Dupree.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But who would take on that cap number this year? That would be my question.
The Titans don't want to take it on next year.
Yeah, well, but next year is next year. I know. I'd be you're
but
trying
I,
to. I can't see them doing that though.
I understand it. I couldn't see them getting rid of A.J. Brown either, but they did. My thing is, if you watch a team, and this goes back. That's why I think when you look at New England Patriots, you were not surprised when they cut X guy or X guy or X guy.
They did it.
It was
many
just like,
times,
okay, because the next guy, the team never seems to get
Richard
affected.
Seymour was a big
one,
right?
Even though Richard Seymour's a Hall of Famer now, it was like, okay, we're going to the next one. We hate to lose them, but we're going to the next. And they were always able to operate at such a high level defensively. I think Vrabel's that same way. Listen, we would like to have you, but not having you doesn't cripple our defense. There's only one guy on that defense. If they didn't have, it would cripple it. And that's Jeffrey Simmons.
Jeffrey Simmons, no question.
I mean, Kevin Byard to an extent, I think. But because they got Amani Hooker, I think, maybe for a game or two they can be good without him. But Jeffrey Simmons is the one guy that's not replaceable.
When we come back, we will talk about the Predators. It has not gone well. They have a little time to regroup, and they need to regroup. Their next action is Thursday against a very good St. Louis Blues team. They've got 2 more home games on this homestand, then a big, challenging road trip coming up around the corner. We'll talk about them when we come back here on Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5 The Game.
Your home for the MTSU Blue Raiders is 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. Every touchdown.
Yes, touchdown.
Every three.
Free ball, yes, sir.
It all lives here.
Middle Tennessee.
You can also hear the Blue Raiders in the Borough on 97.5, Middle Tennessee Athletics on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
On Fox 17 Code Red, meteorologist Greg Bobus forecast for us today, taking us into the low 80s once again this afternoon. A little bit of a breeze out of the south. No rain for your Monday. Next rain chance moves in afternoon toward the evening on your Tuesday.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hey, it's Jared. Are you looking to move? If so, do yourself a favor and reach out to my friends at TriStar Moving. You can be assured your move will be stress-free because they've got new utility vans to help with pack jobs to separate your high-value or fragile items from the bulk of your furniture, and their movers are carefully picked and highly trained. No one in the game is doing this. TriStar Moving is raising the standard in the moving industry. When you're ready to move, give them a call. TriStar Moving, 615-640-1219, or online at nationalmoving.org/radio, and tell them Jared Stillman referred you for 10% off. That's TriStar Moving.
Are you looking for Tennessee-grown and crafted THC, CBD, Delta 8, Delta 9 products? Then float on over to ounceofhope.com. On top of the widest selection of luxury edibles and smokables, their customer service team is high quality and prepared to help select the right cannabis product for your needs. Their knowledgeable team will have you flying high with a smile. That's ounceofhope.com, made locally in Memphis. Ounce of Hope is Memphis Flyers' best cannabis shop 2 years in a row. Legal THC delivered to your door. ounceofhope.com.
Hey, it's Jared from my friends at Hiller. Fall means cooler weather is coming. Make sure your family is warm in your home with this special deal from Hiller. This month, take advantage of Hiller's Happy HVAC Comfort Bundle, which includes an HVAC replacement, germicidal UV light, extended 10-year warranty, and you'll get a free solo smokeless stove. or get a free solo stove with a new whole home generator or whole home water filtration and de-escalator. Plus, Hiller is offering 0 interest for up to 12 months on these purchases. Hiller's work is backed by the Happy You'll Be Your Services free guarantee. That's Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Robbie Stanley.
To avoid non-contact injuries and not repeat last year,
Joe Rexrode.
just wait until next year's national TV schedule comes out.
Robbie and Rexrode. Mornings from 6 to 10 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app. This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Back at you, 102.5, The Game. Willy, Chase, and D-Mase here. Talking everything sports. We had a good sport weekend this week. Well, at least we did when it came to football. But Willy.
Depending on who you're rooting for.
Yeah, depending on who you're rooting for. Like I was rooting for Syracuse, and they...
Oh,
my goodness. Let's not talk about that. But what is going on? I mean... Through 6 games now. Is it 6?
7.
7. They've dropped the last 5.
The
Preds. After
Preds.
going 0-2 to Preds. After going 2-0, they dropped the last 5 games, man. And it doesn't seem like with St. Louis coming in, it doesn't seem like it's going to get any better.
Well, it's going to be a challenge. This is a good crossroads here. They have the day off today. Or maybe some community service. I think they'll practice again tomorrow. They got two days of practice before St. Louis comes in. It's a break in the schedule. Yeah, they've got some things to figure out. It was really frustrating, Derek, on Saturday night because they had a really good crowd. They had the celebration for David Poile. I thought they came out and they got hit by one of the things that happens a lot of times in hockey games. The last 3 games, since they had the 2 bad games against the Stars, they've come back with 3 games that have all been very different. The first 2, they lost leads in different ways. And then Saturday, they fell behind early. And I thought that, and the stat sheet will tell you, they controlled the play from start to finish. They dominated the faceoff circle. They had way more shot attempts. They, generally speaking, had more chances, but they didn't turn it into any goals. You got to give Carter Hart a lot of credit. Philadelphia's got a good structure, good identity right now. The Predators have to be a better team than the Flyers over the course of the season, and they dropped one. So it's like if it's not one thing, it's the other right now. I actually think they played more the way they wanted to play in terms of getting shots, getting good shots, winning faceoffs, getting possession of the puck. They did a lot of those things, but it's puzzling how that works in hockey sometimes. Now, the one thing that I said after the game, they didn't get enough quality chances. They had chances. They had more chances than Philadelphia. Philadelphia took advantage of their chances. That's one way you can win a hockey game.
What do you mean by quality chances? Are you talking about power play or inside the, in the scoring area?
I would say in all phases of the game. Okay. I think there's different websites, different coaches, and then there's just the eyeball test, just like we all have. And just say, there's different ways to keep scoring chances. Sport Logic is one that we watch during our broadcasts. They have scoring chances, and they have them broken down, A, B, C. I showed you Natural Stat Trick. They've got chances, and then they've got high danger chances. That all depends on where the shot is coming from. So they've got different measures. And then you and I could just sit down and watching a game and keep scoring chances, right? And you might watch a period and say, I had 3-2 Predators. I might watch the same hockey game and say, well, I had it 4-3 Flyers. It just depends on what you and I think is a chance. So each coaching staff has their way of doing it. The way I saw it on Saturday was the Predators had good chances. They had decent chances. They didn't get the great as many great chances as you would hope to get, given the fact that they had 70, I think it was 75 shot attempts, and the Flyers only had 44. Like, if you tell me, let's play a game, I'm going to get 75 shots, you get 44. Regardless of the quality of those shots or where those shots are coming from, I like my chances.
Exactly.
Right? I have a better chance. But the quality is important. And what you do with it, you got to execute the chance, right? Just because I give you a chance doesn't mean you're going to score. The goalie has something to do with it. So there's a lot of things that go into it. I would say of the 3 games that they lost last week, Los Angeles, where they lost in the shootout, Columbus, where they lost on Thursday and lost the lead 3-1 in the third period, and then Saturday, where they really trailed the whole game. I would say they played by far the best Saturday, but the result is the same. So that's the thing that has you scratching your head, is you say, over the course of the season, if you play like that, like you did on Saturday, you should win your share of games. But, boy, is it frustrating in the moment, because the crowd's going, what's going on? Hey, you've now lost 5 in a row. You can't beat the Blue Jackets. You can't beat the Flyers. How are you going to beat the Blues? That's going to be the question everybody's asking this week, but hopefully that will bring something better out of them.
Now, what do you think? Because in situations like this, I mean, we can always. The easiest thing is, well, let's point to the head coach, or let's point to the goalie, because he's given up 3, 4, 5 goals. That's easy to sort of point at those two individuals, but it has to be more than that.
It does. A lot of people are questioning John Hines, right? Okay. That's going to be how it goes. They're going to go after the coach. And you mentioned the goalie. That's the next easiest thing everybody points at. UC Saros has a lot of credibility. He's got a great track record. I don't think he's been at his best. He's been okay. The numbers would suggest he hasn't given up any soft goals at all. But when he's on, he makes everybody better. He's a Jeffrey Simmons. He's a Derrick Henry. He's a guy that elevates everybody around him. I don't think he's really gotten into that groove yet. He's been a slow starter at times in his career. There have been some slow starts under John Hines for the season. Last year, 1-4. The year before that, I want to say they were 2-4-1, something like that. So they've had some slow starts, and they've been able to work their way out of it. There's still plenty of time. But, you're disappointed that you're missing opportunities, I think, to get points. That was an opportunity last week where you felt like you should get some points. If you play good hockey, the teams you're playing, where you're playing them, the fact that your team right now, knock on wood, is pretty healthy. To me, the bigger thing is not that they lost, but they lost opportunity to really get off to a good start, pad some points, bank some points early. They did that in Prague against a weak Sharks team. But they missed a big opportunity last week. I thought that they just did not play the way they were capable of for the week as a whole. So they'll have to just make up for it somewhere along the line. I think that they can, but they've just got to be better. But I thought they played the right way on Saturday, just did not get rewarded. And Carter Hart is 4-0 for a reason. He's played 4 games for the Flyers, and he's been lights out in all 4. They had beaten Tampa early in the week, the previous game he had played, and I just thought he played another really solid game on Saturday night, and it was enough for the Flyers to win.
Well, they're going to have to do something moving forward.
Yes, they do.
The Predators, because you don't want to get into this situation. And I know it's early in the season, but you don't want to look, 15, 20 games in and find yourself in the same situation or with the same problems that you had at the beginning of the season. I'm confident that they got enough good players on this team, enough leaders on this team that they get it turned around. Now, how quickly will that happen? I don't know.
Roman Josi is a good example. He's got 1 point. He's got no goals, 1 assist. But he's getting more shots. Like on Saturday, he had a ton of shot attempts. He was firing pucks at the net all over the place. And that's not the only way that he creates offense. He creates it with skating and moving. So I thought he did a lot of the things that he does when he puts up points. Nothing's going in right now for him. I got to believe that will come around. If anything, I think players like him are almost trying to do a little too much. Maybe they're trying too hard to get it right. So, it's really head-scratching when you're in one of those moments, and there's such a fine line between everything clicking, you're feeling so good about everything, which was the feeling in Prague, and now feeling like, what's going on? We can't do anything right, or we can't get any results right now. What's the deal? That's where you got to stick to it over the long haul. Let's take the baseball. The Braves, they could do no wrong for 4 months.
Then all of a sudden, here come the Phillies, who fired their manager after 50 games. They got swept late in the season by the Cubs, and it looked like they might not even make the playoffs. They barely get in, and now they've been on a complete roll. It's really weird how it can switch in a hurry. I think that's what the Predators have to hope for. Stay with your process, one game at a time. Hopefully you can come out and play a good game on Thursday. But they've got to get it under control quick here, because you don't want to build too big of a hole to where it really gets out of control. You can deal with 5 games. Most teams are going to have a stretch where you don't play well for a 5 to 10 game stretch. The Edmonton Oilers last year went through a month, 6 weeks of just misery. They fired their coach. Nobody knew what was going on, and all of a sudden they find themselves in the Western Conference Final by the end of the season. So there's a lot of twists and turns to a hockey season, but tough times for the Predators right now. Well, I said something earlier in the show that needed to happen, and it has happened. So I'm going to tell you what I was talking about when we get back. You're listening to 102.5, The Game.
You love the game.
The door's on the board. Strike 3, sounds win.
We live the game.
Going up against that defense, he can make some plays and take that next step.
We got pass rushers.
Checkered flag in the air.
Awesome game 7.
What a stop made by UC
The Game. Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
There's never a good time for your furnace to go out, especially in the winter, but it's always a good time to call Lee Company. Our heating and air conditioning pros are available 24/7. No heat? Don't wait. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000. Our expert technicians will diagnose the issue and fix it right the first time. When you're cold, you need someone you can count on to bring the heat. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
312 Pizza Company is Nashville's authentic Chicago pizzeria, and they're now hiring. Work for a family-owned business and be a part of their incredible team. 312 Pizza Company is hiring for all positions, including host, waitstaff, bartenders, cooks, and more. 312 Pizza Company offers health insurance and paid time off to full-time employees. Contact Kimberly at 615-730-7888 or email at contact@312pizzaco.com. 312 is an equal opportunity employer.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. You'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results are guaranteed or your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Are you looking to get your foot in the door in the sports media business? Do you want to be around the biggest teams in Nashville and learn from some of the best in the business? We're opening that door for you. The entry to working in the world of sports radio exists as a promotions assistant at 102.5-106.3 The Game. The Game is looking for a few passionate and outgoing folks to represent the station on site at the biggest sporting events in and around Nashville. Does that sound like you? Email together@cromwellmedia.com. That's together@cromwellmedia.com.
We're especially proud of our work family at Cromwell Media, who owns this station. This month, we're saluting Janice Russell and Dorothy Black in our corporate office for 32 and 28 years of service. Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexroad are toasting to 2 years as hosts of our morning show on 102.5-106.3 The Game. And promotions assistant Gates Gaines is celebrating his first anniversary. Whether it's 3 decades or 1 year, we love what we do, making a difference every day. If you'd like to join us, send an email to together@cromwellmedia.com. That's together@cromwellmedia.com.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators. 102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
We got pass rushers.
Awesome game set. Checker flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Now let's see if we can bring them to life, all right?
Bringing you entertainment and informative sports talk during your workday.
Smart, funny, classy, and I like him a lot.
This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase with Chase McCabe, Willy Donick,
Mason, touchdown, Tennessee,
and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
This is a new level of geek you got going on here.
Yes, and we're back, 102.5 The Game. Willie, D-Mase, and Chase just walked in for a quick second to say hello.
He's alive.
Yeah, the suit is alive.
I was glad to see the suit. I was not sure that the suit was even in the building until just now.
Man. He's the suit. But, yes, he was in for a minute.
D-Mase is feeling good because he made a prediction in the 10 o'clock hour, and I was thinking, really?
That I did make. I said during the 10 o'clock hour that one quarterback needed to be benched in favor of another quarterback. And an hour later, it happens. So, Nick, tell us the breaking news.
Listen to that breaking news.
Yeah, I like Nick to do it. I like Nick to do it.
Okay.
I want Nick to do it
fine.
because he gave it to us.
Okay. No, I didn't give it to you. Chase gave it to you, actually. So, but it looks like Sam Ehlinger, I think is how you say his last name. Ehlinger.
Yeah.
And he went to Texas last year. He will now start for the Indianapolis Colts after Matt Ryan is reportedly being benched.
And not just start. On Sunday. He will start.
Finish the game.
The rest of the season.
Yes. Sam Ehlinger, the rookie quarterback out of Texas, will start the remainder of the season for the Indianapolis Colts. And watching that game.
Now, Matt Ryan is injured. That is part of it.
But even with
grade 2 shoulder strain or shoulder separation, which is that is part of the equation here.
But even with his injury, even if he didn't have an injury to his throwing shoulder, I think that the way this team is built and constructed, that team in Indianapolis, it doesn't afford Matt Ryan to play at a top level. Why? Because he's not mobile anymore, and that offensive line is having problems. So offensive line having problems, and a quarterback that's not mobile spells disaster. And we saw firsthand what Matt Ryan looks like this past weekend, and they just needed someone that can, because of the offensive line woes, someone that can move around in the pocket, which brings me back to Ryan Tannehill. Same situation. I'm not saying bench Ryan Tannehill. No, I'm not saying that. But because of his injury, what do?
I just think it's interesting the Colts have said they have made the headline, Sam Ehlinger will start the rest of the season.
Yes.
And then they kind of say, oh, by the way, Matt Ryan has a grade 2 shoulder separation. So what is it? Is it the separation? Like, you would think the headline should read, Matt Ryan has separation. Ehlinger will start in his place. But they're kind of making this a grand, Sam Ehlinger is now our starting quarterback. It's almost like regardless of matter. It's interesting how they are presenting this.
Because all of their jobs is on the line. Everybody's job in
and
that
that's what I want. I wonder if Irsay, where Irsay is on this.
Exactly. He's like, listen, if we don't start winning ball games, that's why I don't think he's going to fire. I would be surprised if he fires like the head coach or the GM. If he does, he's going to fire everybody. He's going to do that at the end of the season. This is an opportunity to try to sort of salvage the season because they're not out of it.
No,
they're still in it.
They're one game out.
But Matt Ryan's not giving them the best opportunity to win ball games. Why? Because he's not mobile. He can't move in the pocket, and that offensive line is horrible.
Now, I have to get some intel on grade 2 shoulder separation, and I don't know. It doesn't say which shoulder. If it's, I assume it's his throwing shoulder, but I mean it could be a problem even if it's the other shoulder. But I know about shoulder separation. I was gone for 6 months with that thing, but that was my throwing shoulder, and that was pickleball. But that's for another day.
Exactly.
But it does look like a significant injury for Ryan. But to sit there and say Sam Ehlinger will start the rest of the season, it's almost like they're saying, "Hey, Matt,
they're done with
thanks
that.
for trying,
yeah,
but we're going in a completely different direction." It almost looked like Irsay was just tired of seeing him not being able to get the job done. They can't protect him the way he needs to be protected.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
You brought this guy in here. The offensive line was supposed to be, much improved.
And remember just how they cast Carson Wentz aside, too.
Let's get rid of him. He's the problem. Well, you come in here, you have the same old problems. Well, it really wasn't the quarterback. It has a lot to do with the offensive lineman as well. And after watching that game yesterday, I'm sure it was an embarrassment to the owner, a true embarrassment. It was an embarrassment to the GM, I can tell you that. But it was probably even more of an embarrassment for the owner. They all know they're sitting on they are living on borrowed time right now.
But it's interesting how he goes from being the hero that threw it 58 times the week before in a win.
That can only work for so long.
He is not starting the rest of the season, injury or not. And what do we think? Do they think Sam Ehlinger is going to come in there and be the answer?
At least he gives them the ability to get outside the pocket and make some plays. Matt Ryan is a statue, a hobbled statue at that.
That's true.
At least
and that's been a problem.
Gives them the ability to move around in the pocket.
We were talking about this last week it's not always yards because Matt Ryan was throwing for yards, but it was not efficient yards. It was mixed with a lot of pass pressures. It was mixed with a lot of turnovers, fumbles, interceptions, and it was not coupled with the kind of running game that they were looking. So they're going in a completely different direction. Very, very bold move by the Colts here. Now, let's talk about Ehlinger for a second. 6'3", 225, out of Texas. He's really got no stat. He has not played any significant time.
No.
He has not thrown a pass in the NFL.
No.
He's been in 3 games. He has rushed it 3 times for 9 yards. Those are his stats as an NFL player.
What did you expect? Did you expect more, Willie?
I was wondering if he'd just been in there a little bit here and there. 6th round pick.
Yeah.
2021.
So this is his second year, right?
Second year.
Yeah, second year. I said rookie, my bad.
Yeah.
Second year player. Well, I mean, they just need somebody right now that can move around in the pocket because their offensive line is horrendous.
My question is, does Frank Reich think this is the right thing to do, or was this above Frank Reich where they said, Frank, I just can't watch Matt Ryan anymore. We're going in a different direction. Make it work, which is, I think, what he had to do with Carson Wentz. I'm not sure he thought that was necessarily the best move. Just scrap the whole thing, start over with Matt Ryan. Do you?
Well, a decision was made.
A decision was made, but
I don't think they wanted to necessarily.
It didn't make sense with their salary cap.
Wentz,
they gave up a lot to get Carson Wentz, and then they had to turn around and trade for another quarterback.
They're
and now you got this.
Boat. Yeah, they're in the same boat again.
It just seems very knee-jerk. It seems above the coach to me. And Frank Reich has got to make it. It's almost like, hey, this or we'll get somebody else.
This
you know
is
what
the
I mean?
owner. This is all the owner. And he has a right to do it. I mean, your offense looked pathetic. And that's being nice.
Well, the Titans dominated them for sure. They were very close to pitching a shutout yesterday. They got the 4th and 3 that kept the drive alive to where they ended up punching it in for the one touchdown. It took everything they had to get the points that they got. The other 3 points they got were set up on the one turnover that the Titans had where they fumbled the exchange between Tannehill and Malik Willis. So that is a bold move by the Colts. We'll see if it pays off, but that is I guess I'm not completely shocked because they had to do something, but to say he's the starter for the rest of the year, that is a bombshell.
Do you know who's backing him up now, too?
Do they still have Eason, the kid from Georgia?
No, it's Foles.
Oh, they have Nick Foles on the roster?
Yep.
Man, I forgot about that. But Sam Ehlinger will start the rest of the season. So they have Nick Foles. I didn't know that. Okay. We know what Reich and Foles did a couple of years ago with the Eagles.
Absolutely.
So keep that in mind. The Titans are done with them. They've got their 2 wins over the Colts. So the Colts will still play a part. And remember, too, the Colts have already played the Jaguars twice. So they have played the bulk. They played all but one of their division games. That's pretty crazy. So now they go out and play a lot of the other teams. And so they play, the Commanders on. How ironic is that? They're playing the Commanders who have Carson Wentz, and he's hurt as well. Wow. All right, so we delayed the NFL Zingers. Nick, are you prepared on the other side to bring it strong?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you have enough material even though we took all the Colts ones from you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Plenty.
Okay,
Plenty.
you're deep. He's confident. All right. When we come back, we'll go around the NFL with the Zingers. Plenty going on. The Titans win. The Colts have benched Matt Ryan for the rest of the season. Man, stay tuned. We've got more coming on 102.5 The Game.
Let's put the green flag in the air and turn them loose.
Nashville's home for NASCAR.
He's going to try to make a big move here.
It's brought to you by the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. We are your racing station.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
Hey, it's Joe Rexrow talking FanDuel Sportsbook. Now's the perfect time to download FanDuel. It's America's #1 sportsbook. And new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 right now. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just sign up with promo code Joe102. A lot of things to like about FanDuel, of course. You got your favorite bets. You get your money lines and point spreads and player props. You can combine them for a same-game parlay. You could do that with a little Patriots-Bears if you like. And, of course, you get paid fast. It's safe, secure, it's easy. That's important for me. Sign up with promo code Joe102 for your no-sweat first bet. Again, promo code Joe102. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbet.fanduel.com. If you have a gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
Finishing jobs on time, never being idle, and powerful equipment. Meade has the John Deere excavating equipment and the smart grade technology solutions for you and your business. Power your business with a new, used, or rented excavator and get the performance you expect and service you can rely on. Call us today for the equipment built as tough and reliable as you, or visit us at meadtractor.com. That's meadtractor.com.
The Nashville Area Chamber of Commerce is celebrating 175 years of creating economic prosperity by facilitating community leadership in the Nashville region. Join their annual celebration presented by PNC Bank on October 25th from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. at the Renaissance Nashville Hotel. Enjoy networking, breakfast, and an immersive We Are Nashville experience designed to inspire conversations and take simple but meaningful actions to embrace and preserve the unique character of our city. Get tickets at the door. More information at celebrate.nashvillechamber.com.
Hey football fans, Patrick Mahomes here, and I'm here to tell you that with NFL Sunday Ticket only on DirecTV, you can watch your favorite team no matter where you live. Because NFL Sunday Ticket gives you every live out-of-market game every Sunday afternoon. So switch to DirecTV and learn how to get the 2022 NFL Sunday Ticket season included at no extra cost. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
With choice package and above, 24-month agreement required. Call for details.
This is a relationship, just like your relationship. Dating and getting married is awesome and fun, but having been married for 24 years, I can tell you it only gets better.
Meet Ward Herbert, manager at Genesis Diamonds, talking about the importance of having a long-term marriage with your spouse and your jeweler.
What's in the DNA here is relationship building. How can we be a part of your love story forever? It's your engagement ring, it's your wedding band, it's your anniversaries, it's gifts for your children, it's being a Genesis customer for life.
Genesis Diamonds, where it's never about making a sale, it's about making a hero.
The greatest joy I get is helping you find your perfect ring, helping you find your perfect diamond, and having you walk out with a huge smile on your face because you know she's going to love it and it's going to be something that you can be proud of forever.
And Ward knows a thing or two about relationships as a marriage counselor and an ordained minister. He can provide a little extra added value.
I did a wedding ceremony for one of our customers 2 months ago. He did not have a minister at the last minute, and I performed his wedding ceremony for him.
Genesis Diamonds, going above and beyond for every customer.
Now you may kiss the bride.
Green Hills and Cool Springs.
I love this show.
Never miss a moment of the show.
Okay, all right, okay.
Subscribe to the Chase, Willy, and D-Mase podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
Live from the Hillside Medical Games studio, you're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5 The Game. You can watch us streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook every day. Our video streaming is brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. It's time for NFL Zingers. We've got our man, Nick Keyser, ready to fire away.
Gentlemen, another week of Zingers. And yes, we did steal a little bit of thunder there with Matt Ryan being benched due to his shoulder being separated. But nonetheless, we move along. The show must go on, right, fellas?
It does.
All right. Well, first and foremost, I got to go up to the AFC North here because my man, Joe Burrow, had himself a day yesterday. So I don't know if you guys saw this crazy stat line, but he is the only NFL quarterback, I believe, this season. I don't know if it's just in general even too, but the list of quarterbacks that have thrown a total of 500 yards with 4 total touchdowns, the list is just him. So my main question here, with him being as good as he is lately, what is the Bengals' full potential here this season? You know, they're 4-3 in the division. They're tied with the Ravens right now for that first place spot. What do you guys think is the fate of the Cincinnati Bengals here?
I don't know. They're starting to play some good football as of lately because we wondered about, they lost the opening game versus Pittsburgh Steelers, and it seemed like they could never get that offense on track. This is a tough division. Baltimore, Cincinnati, Cleveland. They're all still in there vying to win this division. If they stay healthy, I think it's a two-team race. Now, the bad part about it is they've lost to Baltimore already, I believe. So they got Baltimore one more time. So they're going to have to beat Baltimore ultimately, I think, to win this division. But this is a tough division to be in because Deshaun Watson comes back pretty soon. They kept themselves, above water. Cleveland has. So what will they look like, after he comes back after 7th week or 8th week, something around there? How will they look? Pittsburgh's always a tough out, but they didn't look too good yesterday, even though they lost a close one. I don't know. This division is up in the air.
Yeah, I'm not sure the Browns can hang close enough to where Deshaun Watson could put them over the top. I'm not sure they're there. And the Ravens can't seem to get it going. Every week it seems like the Ravens are sputtering somewhere. So that leaves you with the Bengals, and I still think they've got some flaws, Nick. But, man, it looks overwhelming when they have a game like that, when they just rev it up. They haven't been able to do that every week. And I still have concerns about the way they've run it. They haven't run very well with Joe Mixon. And we'll see when they play against good defenses if they can protect Joe Burrow. But, man, that was scary to the rest of the teams. We're talking about Buffalo, and we're talking about KC as the elite teams. Could the Bengals, who are the defending AFC champions, get into that race? I'm still not ready to say that.
No,
yet.
absolutely not. And I think that just raises the question. And I think he's obviously leading his team that way, which is food for thought, obviously, moving down the road here. But so let's talk about some GOATs here for a second. You got Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. So my main question here to set the scene is, are we going to go ahead and start accepting that maybe they should step away from the game of football? Let me break it down here for you guys. So Aaron has lost 3 in a row recently, while Brady, in his loss to the Panthers, he now has a losing record for the first time through Week 7 since 2002. I was an itty-bitty toddler around then, guys, believe it or not. But over the last 2 weeks, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers have started against quarterbacks Taylor Heineke, P.J. Walker, Kenny Pickett, and Zach Wilson. These guys are a combined 0-4 against those quarterbacks. And through these first 7 weeks, they look abysmal out there on the gridiron. So what do you guys think about them? I know that Tom Brady, we heard him on Friday say, retirement's not in my future. But what do you guys think about their future right now? I know that D-Mase had a lot to say about the retirement on Friday, but, I mean, there's food for thought here as far as maybe them retiring after this season ends, especially for how they're playing right now.
Well, I don't think Brady is retiring after the season. I would be surprised. I don't think he envisioned this season. Now, again, like I told Willie, they can turn this thing around. They're only 3-4. They can turn this thing around and win 6 or 7 games. And here we go again with the Tom Brady-led Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Aaron Rodgers, on the other hand, I'm not saying he's retiring, but I don't feel sorry for him. I don't. Because he chose to string this thing out for as long as he did. He lost Valdez Scantling, is that how you pronounce his name?
Marquez Valdez Scantling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And he lost, obviously his number one guy to Vegas. But all the while, he wasn't communicating with these guys. He wanted his money. So you got your money, and look where you're at. I don't feel sorry for him. He should have took a page out of Tom Brady's book. Listen, I deserve $50 million. I know that, but give me $30 million. But surround me with all my guys. Keep on. I'm gonna say that right now. Aaron Rodgers is not into winning Super Bowls no more. He's not. He won his one, and he's fine with it.
I got that vibe from Tony Dungy and Jason Garrett on the Sunday night broadcast. They broke down some film where it looked like he just didn't have confidence in the players around him. It was kind of like he got rid of the ball quick. If he held it an extra second, guys are popping open. They were breaking this down on the tape. So to lose to the Giants, Jets, and Commanders in a row, that's especially troubling for Green Bay. And then Tampa Bay, we had a great discussion last week about with Trey Wingo on is it piling up behind the scenes, just the special treatment that Brady has asked for and gotten in order to play, when it looked like he wasn't sure he wanted to come back to Tampa, and then they changed coaches. So a lot of question marks, but very winnable stuff down the road. Maybe more so for Tampa just because of the division they're in than Green Bay.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's definitely something that we could see change over the course of the next few weeks. Tom Brady could turn it around. Aaron Rodgers, I like what D-Mase says. Maybe he's not set on winning another Super Bowl, but in my opinion, he's still trying to make a push here. So I move on to a team that is making a push to be maybe in the Super Bowl this year. Christian McCaffrey was traded to the San Francisco 49ers on Thursday night during Thursday Night Football. He was dealt for a second-round pick, a third-round pick, and a fourth this year for a fifth and 24. The Niners fell to the Chiefs yesterday, but let's talk about San Francisco for a second. Do you guys really think this is a team that can make a push with Christian in the backfield now? I think he obviously was very, very quick to get out there on the field. And I heard on the broadcast yesterday that he was asking for a playbook right after he got traded. So he's very motivated. This team is motivated. They have a lot of great packages, running the ball, passing the ball. Jimmy G was the backup, thrown off to the side, cast away, and now he's the starting quarterback. What do you guys think about the 49ers?
My question is, where's the defense of the 49ers? Because they got shredded the other day. I would think it's going to get better with McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel and Ayuk. I see the makings of a good offense there, but I thought the whole staple of the 49ers was defense, and they got absolutely lit up the last 2 weeks, really, by the Falcons last week and then yesterday KC.
Well, they didn't have Bosa last week. They end up getting Bosa back this week. May take him another game to kind of get back into the feel of it. But this is a good team. I think the defense is pretty good. Listen, this isn't the first team that the Kansas City Chiefs has done this to. First defense or legitimate, like, top 10 defense. They've done this to a bunch of people. So I'm just going to take it with a grain of salt. I think this team, this was a long-term move for the 49ers, meaning for the rest of the season. It wasn't particularly for this game. They love having him in to kind of get a feel for him. But I think this is for when they get in the playoffs. So now they have another dimension. People can't just, gang up on Deebo Samuel. Now you got to worry about Christian McCaffrey, if he stays healthy, coming out the backfield, catching passes, and he can run between the tackles.
They get the best thing that they got going for them too is the Rams look like they got a lot of trouble. The Seahawks are leading the division, and it's a very even division right now. So if you can play your best football going forward, you can still be in the mix.
Oh, no question. I think there's no doubt there whatsoever. And I guess I do have a stat and another question really quick to read off. The NFC East is 16-3 this year outside of their own play in division, by the way, which is crazy, absolutely nuts. But my last thought for us to have before we go into our next segment is we have Monday Night Football between the Bears and the Patriots this evening. We don't know who's starting yet for the Patriots. We could see Zappe. We could see Mac Jones make his debut after missing the last, 3 or 4 weeks roughly. So we could just kind of see, hey, what do we think about this game this evening? I honestly think that Justin Fields and the Bears can get this one done if they kind of grind this one out, get to the fourth quarter. I'm looking at the tape a little bit prior to our show today, and I am a little bit more encouraged by the Bears lately, somewhat. I think Fields can make a run for maybe leading this in the right direction if they get on the scoreboard early.
The stats are not kind to Josh Fields. He has got to get going. He's got to show some signs that he's going to make it there. It's getting dire over there. Now, Mac Jones, what was the injury, Derek? High ankle sprain. Again,
and he missed
is what
3 games, 4 games?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
So this is, again, the concern with Ryan Tannehill. I don't know how bad it is, but this is my fear. They announced today for the Browns, David Njoku, high ankle sprain, 2 to 5 weeks. They haven't said that for the Titans, but it kind of looks like a high ankle sprain to me. We'll see. But, man, that's what I'm worried about. I don't know who's going to play tonight for the Patriots, but does it really matter? I mean, I think Zappe's pretty good. I may be seeing this wrong. I know it's like this is desperation time for the Bears. If they're gonna be respectable, take a step forward, they've got to start playing better. They've been brutal. But this is the kind of game where I just see a Bill Belichick game plan against a young quarterback who still hasn't figured it out.
They'll beat the Bears.
I think the Pats will beat the Bears. I just think they will.
They'll beat the Bears. Whether it's Zappe or
turn
out the Mac. Mac Jones. I think New England wins this game.
Do you think if they put Scott Zolak in, they would still beat the Bears?
They still beat the Bears. The Bears are the Bears on offense, man. They're worse than the Titans on offense. Man.
I was only trying to give them more credit maybe than what was due, D-Mase.
Yeah.
But I am encouraged by my alma mater quarterback. I think he's been playing very well lately, and unfortunately we were trying to get him on the show, but that's okay.
Well, old Zappe, last week might have been his last week to start. We don't know. But you never can put it past Coach Bill Belichick to throw him in there one extra week.
All right. Good zingers.
The zingers.
Well done. All right, when we come back, we will move forward. I want to ask D-Mase a big-time question about a guy that's going to hit the free agent market here and ask him what would he do if he were Aaron Judge. I'll give him the circumstances, all the things at play, and ask, would you want to leave or would you want to stay? The World Series is set. It is not the Yankees and Aaron Judge. They were swept by the Astros-Phillies in the World Series. Stay tuned. We're coming back, but we're going to ask, what would D-Mase do when we come back?
Hey, this is Roman Yossi, and this is Nashville.
Going to the front of the net, he scores. What a gorgeous move. Roman Yossi.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
If you missed the latest from Stillman & Company, delivered by TriStar Moving.
The TD Power Hour, I'm just torn if the Titans are a good team or are not a good team, whereas I know that discussion's probably being had in 28 of the 32 markets.
Mm-hmm. I think they are a good team because you don't win those close games unless you are just that. Now, I'll say this. They're an outstanding first-half team, a mediocre second-half team.
Mm-hmm.
Finding a way to marry those two will be the key to their success. And we saw it against the Commanders. We saw it against the Raiders. We saw it multiple times. We saw it against the Giants even in the loss. They are able to come out to a good start, but they just find ways to allow teams to stick around, and they don't put them away when they should.
Tune in Stillman & Company with Jared Stillman. Weekday afternoons from 2 to 6.
On ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Had to step in here, suit duty today. But can you beat Vegas this football season? Superbook Sports gives you the chance every week to go head-to-head with the best odds makers in Las Vegas. There's no fancy computer algorithms. There's no guys across the pond setting the lines for American sports. It's just the best team of odds makers in the business behind the counter at the Superbook in Las Vegas. Plus, Superbook features some of the best odds, boosts, and promo bets anywhere. If you're looking to bet on the game tonight, Chicago plus 8.5 at New England. I like the under in that game of 40, actually, is where I would go. So download the Superbook Sports app or visit superbook.com and start your battle against Vegas right now. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Jonathan Hutton.
You have to put the ball in his hands in that moment.
And Chad Withrow
My kicker's making no decisions on a football team.
are in the game. Join them for NFL postgame after every Titans home game, live from Landshark Bar and Grill in Margaritaville on Broadway. They'll break down that day's game and look ahead to the next one. NFL postgame is presented by Two Rivers Ford, Renter's Warehouse, and Superbook Sports on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Philip Forsberg. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase coming down the home stretch here. Stillman and Company coming up at 2 o'clock. Coming up in the next segment, we'll have today's trivia question. You can win Jason Bonham tickets at the Ryman on November the 30th. We'll also recap all of the tidbits from Mike Vrabel's press conference. Not huge, but of course the big concern is Ryan Tannehill and the ankle. In the meantime, D-Mase, it's time to ask, what would D-Mase do? And I'd love to get some quick response here on our text line, 615-737-1025. You're Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge was offered a big contract to re-sign in the offseason, in the spring training, before the season started. Re-sign with the Yankees. He turned it down. He bet on himself. He hit 62 home runs. But he was held in check through the entire postseason. Really didn't have a good postseason at all. Mm-hmm. The Astros shut him down in a 4-game sweep. Yankee fans are bummed. They can't get past the Astros. The Astros have owned them in the postseason. In fact, the Yankees became the first team to lose 5 times in the League Championship Series. It's pretty remarkable that that's happened. It's been a while since they've been to the World Series. They've been winning. Mm-hmm. They've been getting to the LCS, but they have not been able to get to the World Series. So Aaron Judge, coming off of a historic season, is a free agent. You know that to kind of make the money that he is going to be looking for, you can cross off about
half
two-thirds of the teams, realistically. There's probably only about a third of the teams that could make a run at him money-wise. Would you stay in New York, or would you look around?
I would look around. But ultimately, I guess I would look around, but then what would give me the best shot at winning a World Series? And then you got to think about, okay, what other team? Is it a team in Texas? Is it a team in Florida?
He's from California.
California, I wouldn't go back to California, man. He would get hit over the head with taxes. I'm like, nah, I'm not going to California. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to the Dodgers, nowhere. I guess players now, they think about it a little bit different. They think about sort of the 360-degree aspect of it. It's not just, playing. It's, okay, playing. Where will my family? Will my family fit in this area? Does this team have a chance at winning a World Series? Taxes, endorsements, stuff like they think it's more of a 360-degree type of view now. So he's going to have to, I don't know, I probably would look to move somewhere else, but still have an opportunity to win a World Series.
And that's I think part of the challenge for him is a team like the Dodgers that has the payroll. They're already booked. They just went and got Freddie Freeman last year. They got Mookie Betts. They have, it seems like, everything. They don't have a need necessarily for Aaron Judge. Doesn't mean they won't try it, because they didn't really need Freddie Freeman, and then they went and got Freddie Freeman.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering who could do it. The Mets, just for the story of it, and the guy has money out the wazoo, but even that would put them into a luxury tax situation that would be untenable. I think he'll end up back on the Yankees. I cannot, but I said this with Freddie Freeman. Mm-hmm. I just could not envision him wearing another uniform. I just feel like Aaron Judge is so important to the Yankees. And I think you asked the other good question is, can you win a World Series? Mm-hmm. I feel like they'll do everything they can possibly do to try and win the World Series. The Yankees always have in the world of George Steinbrenner. They haven't always been super smart about it, but they're going to put the resources behind it. Mm-hmm. So, man, I'd be shocked if he's not back with the Yankees. I'd be shocked.
What are you saying?
But stranger things have happened.
Would it be north of $400 million?
I think he might. I think it might.
Man.
And then,
That's
who's
problem
watching
to
it
have.
close is Shohei Ohtani, who is in a category all to his own. He pitches as well as hits.
Yeah, he bet on
and
himself,
he's a free
too.
agent in another year or two, saying, okay, just see what you get there, Aaron, and then I'll follow him behind
suit.
you.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
But then the other thing for the Yankees is Aaron Boone, the manager, he's taken them to the LCS a bunch of times, but they can't get over the hump. I wonder if they'll replace him. Now, George Steinbrenner, if he was still around, I think he'd have been fired by now. I think his son is a little more patient with what's going on there.
A little bit more forgiving.
Yeah. But I do think there's a lot of people that wonder if they'll just make a change just to shake it up. They were 50-51 the Yankees, in their last 101 games that they played, which is pretty crazy because they were playing out of this world for the first however many games they played, 60 or 70. They were completely on fire. Then they really leveled off and couldn't get it back. And then, of course, the Astros, a team that nobody likes outside of their fans, but they're doggone good. Man, they're good. Even in the aftermath of the cheating, it's like, if they're not cheating right now, they're still pretty good.
Yeah.
Still, I'm sure they're sitting there going, "What is it now? What is it now?"
Does a team like that have the money to pay him?
Aaron Judge?
Yeah.
That's a good question. My guess is it would be more they feel like we're okay. We got enough good players. We don't need to do that.
That's a big
bet,
though.
That would bring the house down if they did that.
Man.
They haven't been doing that. They've been sort of they've been so good at finding the next guys like Yordan Alvarez. They let some of their guys go, like Carlos Correa. They let him become a free agent. They're like, we got another guy. And he was the MVP of the series. Pena, the young shortstop. So that's kind of how they've rolled. They haven't gone out and bought the big free agent, but wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
If all of a sudden he's on the Astros next year, Aaron Judge? Oh, man. I hadn't thought about that. All right, when we come back, it'll be trivia time. And we will recap the day for the Titans. Some of the tidbits from Mike Vrabel's press conference get you caught up, get you ready for Stillman and company. So also get ready to win some Jason Bonham tickets for the Ryman on November 30th. There's never been a show that's not good at the Ryman. So if you like Jason Bonham at the Ryman in particular, go for this trivia question when we come back. Let me start off by telling you about Lee Company, 615-567-1000. Well, it's been a rough week for the Predators. We all know that. They'll be back at the drawing board on Thursday night against the St. Louis Blues. Saturday, they will take on the Washington Capitals. Ovi coming into town. Big week ahead. Lee Company, a big sponsor of Nashville Predators coverage here on 102.5 The Game and in Smashville. They also want you to know that as the weather starts to get cooler, there have been some cold nights here recently, warming up during the day. You're in that tweener time. Now's a good time to get your systems checked, particularly your heating unit. So give them a call at 615-567-1000 or go to LeeCompany.com. That's 615-567-1000 or LeeCompany.com. Lee Company, proud sponsor of the Nashville Predators. Let their decades of expertise go to work for you.
Every Wednesday at 2:45.
Sanders for the touchdown, 48 yards.
Former NFL wide receiver Chris Sanders joins Stillman and company to give his thoughts on all things Titans and NFL. Fueled by Parman Energy, now hiring fuel drivers. Apply now at ParmanEnergy.com on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobus. Forecast for us today taking us into the low 80s once again this afternoon. A little bit of a breeze out of the south. No rain for your Monday. Next rain chance moves in afternoon toward the evening on your Tuesday.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face truck today.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Football and Fireball is a match made in heaven. And by heaven, of course, we mean Twin Peaks. Spice things up next game day with a shot of our favorite cinnamon whiskey. Twin Peaks in Cool Springs. Made from scratch food, signature 29-degree draft beers, and all the scenic views.
Men, are you asking yourself questions like, why am I gaining fat? Why is my energy or sex drive down and maybe haven't been getting the exercise you need? If you want to get back to the man you used to be but just don't have that youthful energy, that edge you once had, you very well might have low testosterone. Low T causes all kinds of issues, from a reduced libido, lower drive, and bad sleep patterns to problems with muscle gain, bone density, and more. It may even contribute to erectile dysfunction, and if this sounds like you, it's probably time to get treated for your low T. At the Tennessee Tennessee Men's Clinic, we've treated thousands of men for low T. We've seen them put on muscle, add to their energy, improve their sex lives, get better sleep, and just feel better. Plus, if you're like most men, you'll see results in only a few weeks. So make an appointment today and experience how testosterone therapy can truly change your life. Your initial appointment is only $99 with results in minutes. Call today, 615-208-9090, or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects, treatments extra, results vary.
Jared Stillman.
If you get 3 games where he doesn't turn the ball over, you're going to the Super Bowl.
Caroline Fenton.
I don't know if he would be open to joining another team.
Stillman and Company. Afternoons from 2 to 6.
Presented by TriStar Moving.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app. This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
All right, it is time for trivia today, and then we'll recap what happened in Mike Vrabel's press conference earlier. Set the stage for later in the show. We'll get Jared and Caroline's breakdown of the Titans game. D-Mase and I have been doing it throughout the morning and early afternoon here on Chase, Willy, and D-Mase. Here's the trivia question today. We were talking a little baseball. The World Series is set. It'll begin on Friday. And one of the great series from my childhood, D-Mase, was back in 1980. The Phillies and Astros, who were playing each other in the World Series, squared off back when the Astros were in the National League. And the Phillies beat them in 5 games. It was an incredible series. 4 out of the 5 games went to extra innings. Every game was tight. Big-time drama. The Phillies went on to win the World Series. So I just want to give a little shout-out to a baseball fan out there. This is for Jason Bonham tickets at the Ryman on November 30th. Can you name the ace left-handed pitcher for the Phillies who was in the Hall of Fame that led the Phillies to the World Championship in 1980? He won 2 games in the World Series, and he was their backbone for years and years. Easy question if you're a baseball fan. An easy question. 615-737-1025. Call in and win. Nick Keyser, did you know who that was when I gave you the answer?
Oh, no.
No, come on. You need to go to Cooperstown. You need to go to Cooperstown. Hall of Fame left-hander for the 1980 Phillies. 615-737-1025. We're going to test the demographics of our audience, D-Mase, because it's an easy one if you can go back a little ways. So, in the meantime, let's talk about what Mike Vrabel had to say at his press conference. Very careful on how he described the injury to Ryan Tannehill. Basically said, and no, you cannot text the answer. People are already texting. You've got to call to get the answer. People are texting on the text line. You cannot do that. We've been through this.
That's been a no-no. That's
a no-no.
Yes. It's not changing, people.
So the people that just pick up the phone and call. Don't text.
God, please, no.
615-737-1025. Call. Hit send on your phone.
Exactly.
Put the phone to your ear. Nick will answer, and you can win. You could have already done it by now. We got like 7 people have already texted the answer. Careful on how you describe Tannehill. Did not get specific about the ankle injury. Did say that he is likely to be limited in practice this week, which is, not anything earth-shattering. But then did answer questions, I thought, in detail about where Malik Willis is in the process. Because I think as we both gauge, you got to prepare for this to go in a couple of different directions here, depending how the treatment goes for Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, I think you don't want to sacrifice long-term gains for for such something short. Meaning you're not going to sacrifice the season just to win the Houston game. If Ryan Tannehill is not fully healthy, then I'm sure Vrabel will know that before the week's end and make a determination from there. But I'm sure they are putting together whatever package they need to put together for Malik Willis, if indeed he does have to play. Because you don't want to get sort of blindsided and figure out, at the end of the week, Ryan Tannehill can't play, and you haven't put together a game plan for Malik Willis. Ryan's tough. I get it. But you can be tough and still not be able to play when it comes to a ankle sprain, a lower body injury. So
especially if it's the high ankle sprain.
Yeah.
You've had it. I've had it. Your ankle doesn't work. You can numb the pain all you want. It's not a pain threshold. It's just the push off, the explosion.
You're going to feel it no matter what.
Yeah, and you're just not going to be able to get from point A to point B. You saw him struggling to extend to handoffs even in the game down the stretch yesterday. So that will be something to watch. And we don't know that it's a high ankle sprain. It just looked like it to me, but we'll see. I hope I'm wrong because that'll heal a lot quicker if it's not.
Yeah, but I think if it's a severe ankle sprain, you still have to have a contingency plan in place.
Yes,
just in case he can't go, or if he gets hurt again in the game. So I would almost predict that if Ryan's not on the field Wednesday practicing, definitely Thursday, then they're going with Malik Willis. I think and I only believe that because I do believe that Mike Vrabel thinks so much of his defense that, okay, if we don't do anything to mess up on offense, because what we're going to do is get the ball to Derrick Henry no matter what. Our defense will be able to hold their own against the Houston Texans. So sort of buying yourself a little bit extra time for Ryan Tannehill to get fully healthy, you may be able to do that.
It was interesting, when you start thinking about that, how few times they wanted to throw it yesterday.
Yeah.
They threw it 20 times. What do they have, 123 yards? Let me look exactly. Tannehill, 132 yards. So only throwing it when they needed. It was a short passing game. They got timely throws. Timely throws that set up key field goals. Hooper, all three of his catches, timely. They had the one nice play action to Hollister that got down the field. So they're squeezing out chunks. But mostly it is just simply let's run the ball. So what would it look like if you ran a lot of read option? Like the one play that Willis came in, what'd they run? Read option. It was 3rd and long. They weren't going to get the first down. He was just basically playing for the field goal. But Derrick Henry and Malik Willis in a read option, I might say, okay, I could get by for a week or two with that. And you do have a little bit of cushion because now the Colts have announced that Matt Ryan will be benched for the rest of the year. Now, we learned that he does have a grade 2 separated shoulder. But they came out today and say Sam Ehlinger is our quarterback for the rest of the year. So the Colts have issues. The Jags are 2-5. But I still think they have to be considered a threat because they keep wowing us with a lot of plays. They probably feel like they should have won the game yesterday.
Yeah.
But they lost. They're 2-5. So you have a little cushion. You still got 2 games with the Jags. So this is just a theory. If you had to say, look, we got to sit Ryan for a week. A lot of read option, a lot of carries for Derrick Henry, timely short throws, simple package, and just don't turn the ball over. Our defense is good enough to win in Houston.
Well, play everything safe, keep everything in front of them. 1 or 2 reads, that's it. Get him outside the pocket. Allow him to get comfortable with what he's doing because the teams are going to, if Malik Willis does become the starter because of the injury, teams are going to stack the box. So this is a perfect opportunity for the one read. He only has one read. Throw it to this guy, throw it away, hit a check down. That's really about it. But teams are going to give you an opportunity to throw the ball, and because they're going to stack the box, he has to make a few of those throws. He's going to have to, if indeed he becomes a starter. We don't know if he's going to become the starter or not.
This is all speculative.
Yeah, it's all speculation. But if Ryan can't practice any this week, then I'm sure they will feel comfortable going into the Houston game with Malik Willis. Because I'm sure they will have a package for him, a set of plays that he can run And I'm not going to necessarily call it a package, but they're going to put together a game plan just for him and what he can do, what his skill set. And they don't want to put too much on him. They don't want to have him to be reading 3 or 4 guys. It's 1 or 2 reads, and that's it.
So that's something to monitor as we go forward here. He was very proud of the defense, was Mike Vrabel. So a lot of pat on the back questions. I didn't hear a whole lot of things. He did say when he got sort of a pat on the back question about special teams that he said, hold the phone on that. Exactly. I'm not as impressed as you are. And one thing he didn't like the penalty on the first play of the game. That negated a pretty decent return by Hassan Haskins. But the other thing he said was we're giving up too many punt return yards. And there's no question Ryan Stonehouse has a boomer of a leg. We've known that since before he won the job. And he is crushing these kicks. And the net results are still pretty good. But I think Mike Vrabel sees room for improvement with the net. But you contrast that. There were a couple of really bad punts by the Colts yesterday. You could see what happens when your punter has a bad day. So man. I think I hear Vrabel a little frustration, but also kind of like, man, I can get this into – I need great special teams. For this team to be really good, I can't just have okay special teams. I need great special teams.
Well,
and Stonehouse has the potential to do it, I think.
He has the potential to flip the field and, put the Titans' defense in a good position where they can pin their ears back and go after the quarterback. Make it a long and potential methodical drive. The Tennessee Titans don't believe there's, the teams that they play or have played can put together consistently, 9, 10, 11 play drives, and Stonehouse helps with that with his punting. If he backs him up, that's why Vrabel said, listen, he needs to get better at, not necessarily kicking the ball, out the stadium, but hanging it up in the air, putting them in a position where they're getting stuck at the 10-yard line or the 9 or the 8. That's what the last kicker was so good at. And Stonehouse, he'll learn. I mean, he's a rookie. He'll learn. He'll figure it out. But yeah, Vrabel he was quick to kind of cut the legs on that praise and stuff.
He did. That was Belichickian right there.
Exactly.
So we'll see what happens going forward. A big week coming up. Let's see if the Titans can take advantage. They have put themselves in the driver's seat. Still a long way to go. Plenty to discuss as we move forward. We do have a winner in our trivia question. Congratulations to
Keith Durbin.
Keith Durbin. Well done, Keith. The answer, the left-hander, Steve Carlton, led the Phillies to the 1980 title. They beat the Astros in a very exciting NLCS. Now they play the Astros in the World Series. D-Mase, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
And we out.
Stuck at work without a radio?
Wait a minute. Disastrous.
I hate that.
It's got to be there.
That's okay. Download the Game Nashville app or go to the Game Nashville